Made it back just in time.
Yes, you did.
Boom. How's it going, D?
It's gone.
I dropped the link for um Mario. He called me yesterday, said he wanted to join and he had some jobs and stuff and wanted to share and blah blah blah. So I dropped the StreamYard link. Maybe you'll show up, maybe you won't. And if not, we keep it pushing. Keep on moving.
I think people at the TSJ audience, they're getting spoiled to those extended shows.
At the TSJ, I'm mad that you short term the name
You know, I am great with acronyms.
TSJ at the long shows. I don't know.
They are like, keep it going.
I don't know.
Don't stop.
Shows. Hold
Yeah, it's like, even though she is a camel,
on.
camels need a break.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. How did you feel with the short ending in an hour and 16 minutes? Were you
It
cool?
didn't. It
Well,
was a
hey,
fairy
hey, hey,
tale.
hey, 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 hey. We're not
It
gonna
was a
talk about.
fairy tale.
We ain't gonna talk about what happened. We're gonna talk about what could have happened right now. Okay,
It,
it
it's
could
a
have
moot
ended
point. Like it didn't.
don't, didn't there, look, then we had this discussion. Don't talk back to your elders. Okay, so look, what ending it in an hour and 16 minutes. Should we move the show down to an hour? Should we try to get the show done in an hour?
Yes, you should.
Mm.
That was the original show. You made a point to say we need an hour show. You sat down and we talked about this hour show long and what was the benefit of doing these hour long shows and
And Dion, have you noticed we've evolved the
we
content?
revolved.
Evolved.
We revolved.
No, I say, have you noticed we evolved? The content of the show has evolved. We
I
no
know.
longer
I mean, it,
we no longer can do 1 hour shows. We no
okay. Is
longer
it still going to be Text Talks and Jobs?
we no longer what now?
Do we is it when is our final episode of Tech Stocks and Jobs and we start a new show? Because it has evolved.
We don't start a new show. We keep the
We
same.
don't. We
No,
keep it going.
no.
Okay.
Feel free to make 4 or 5 hour shows. Thank you, casual economists. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Don't encourage this.
We appreciate you.
Don't
Honest.
encourage this. She okay. So just for people who don't know, me and Tam used to be in the same location. So when we went on live, we would be at the same location in different rooms. Now we are no longer in the same location. We are no longer in the same time zone. So, to accommodate that, her longer shows, she's burning daylight, which means it is later for me on the East Coast.
What difference does it make? We're here for the people.
So it's longer. So she had her time is a
No,
little off on what that
my
means.
time isn't off.
She
I know
still
what
had daylight. So you know, like the black birds, like I had a parrot growing up. Well, my
I know
stepfather had a
exactly what
parrot.
time it is.
And when it was light outside, they be on. Soon as it get dark, it's a wrap.
I know exactly
So
what time it is. That's not true. I know what time it is. What you're saying is you would like to have daylight so you can go out and frolic in the streets. That's what you
no,
would.
I would just like to eat before 7. I mean, how can I be on my super fine fitness journey if I'm eating at 10 o'clock
Uh,
at night?
let me help you. Let me help you. Let me help you. Just you remove yourself from the stream just like that.
Don't
And then
help me. I don't need that type of help. That is petty Tina's.
you can just remove yourself from the stream and be like, I'm going to go get something to eat.
Oh goodness, I do that. I wouldn't hear the end of it.
Yeah, you would. I'd be like, oh, these leaving. We are here for the people.
Don't tell these untruths.
We are. I
Don't
do.
don't show, don't let me tell you, don't show out in front of these people.
Me?
Do not show out in front
I'm
of these
not
people.
showing up. I'm just saying
Don't
you
do
can
it.
remove yourself
Don't
from
do
the
that.
stream.
Stop it.
You remove
Cut
yourself
it
from the
out.
stream.
Hi
You
everybody.
You remove yourself from the stream and say, I'm hungry.
So
I'm
you saying you don't need me?
No, what I'm saying is if you get hungry, just say I'm hungry and I'm gonna remove myself from the stream so I
I
can go.
do that already, and you don't even know, and the show still goes on. But
Exactly.
what I'm saying is, what if there's nothing, or if I'm doing to you, like, I don't want that. You know, you are good for like, I don't want that. Like, there is like bare bones. But I have all my Zuzus and my Wham Whams here, so I'm okay. But I'm just saying, you know,
This I go through this all the time.
no, you don't. No,
Yeah,
you don't.
I go
No,
through
you don't. You only cut up at this hour of the show at the beginning of
I
this
go
show.
through this all
You
the
do. You do. You do. You do it every show.
I go through
Run the playbacks every show.
because you come in with a hot gun firing.
Every show.
I don't know what it is.
Every show.
What more do you
And
want
you
from
poke.
me?
You know what? If I'm hot, that's because you be poking me the previous show. Like, let me see where D at. Did she put it in here? Well, she ain't said nothing. We talking. Still hear me. See how she do me, y'all? It's just I can't catch a break. Can't catch a break.
I'm listening. Are you done? Are you done? Done? Are you done, son?
Don't silence me. I don't ever
Are
try
you
to
done,
silence
son?
you.
I'm here for the people.
I'm not gonna even keep feeding the bear. I'm not. I'm not. All I'm doing is making myself weary.
Why are you making
Hi
yourself?
everybody.
Don't
So
make
in the last show,
don't make
and I
yourself
still
weird.
didn't upload the intros. At the last show, Tamika said we are going to do a like an open session, and I was like, "Oh, that is a cool idea to do an open session." You already know who we are. We're Women in Linux. You can catch us at womeninlinux.org. We have a meetup every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which we changed for Tamika because she's in another state, in another time zone. So come on out and see us every Wednesday. We got some new faces in the place. It's really, really amazing. We have a Slack channel. If you want to connect with us in Slack, you go to womeninlinux.org and click the connect button, and there is a Slack link. It's easy to view Slack, easier to view Slack on your laptop or your desktop or your mobile device. It is resource heavy, so web browser might be great for you. We are a nonprofit for people that don't know, and so we are. That means we're a 501(c). We work solely off of donations. So go ahead and support either with your money or your time. We appreciate you. I am going to put that donate link in the chat. I'm going to do that for you all as soon as I find it. And subscribe. If you're new to us, go ahead and subscribe. And let's get started. Do you want me to go ahead and drop that link, Tam, or you got some other tidbits for us before we stick to it?
Yeah, I got nothing to say. I'm done. I'm done.
So does that mean that you are ready for the link for people to come up, or you got a few little videos and stuff
I,
you were saving for the show? You
I
got
am.
something you want to give the people since we are here for the people? Do you have something for the people?
I was just waiting for my chance to talk. That's all.
I mean, you're here for the people. That's what you do.
I just waiting for my chance to talk. You call me when you finish.
You act like I talk a lot.
You do.
You just had a whole show for 2 hours.
You do. Anyway, I know Tashika. Oh my. Now y'all see what I be talking about. This is Petty D. Then y'all be like, why does Tam be joking with D? Like, that's because y'all don't get to see that right there. That's what I be talking about.
What is that?
That is not Petty D. That's she has another name.
What are you talking about, Tam?
She has another name that I call her. I have another name for that person. I
Who are
won't.
you talking about, Tamika?
I'm referring to your alter ego, the other person that you have that is on
Do
the
I have an alter ego?
yes.
Tell me. Who is my alter ego?
Yes, this is your alter ego, but it's okay. It is all right. Girl. It's yeah, exactly. Petty D exposed herself. As long as you know, Petty D exposed herself. Y'all get a chance to see how
What
petty
made me petty today?
Petty D would run will run with sentences forever and keep going and be going for 30 minutes. You be like, I don't even know what you're talking about no more, girl. So back to what I was saying. So today we wanted to leave it open for others. I do have some other jobs that was sent over. Um, what you call it? He did send over some jobs with Delta Airlines. He's exclusively working for Delta, recruiting for Delta, and they have some positions. Now I'm not sure if the positions are remote or what have you, but I do have the link. But I want to pull up this other job from Donald actually. Uh, um, let's see, he sent it to me twice, so it's on my screen twice. So okay, here's Donald's joint. Let me blow it up some. Widen it a little bit. Blow up a little more. And that's about as big as I can get it. So it looks fairly big on the screen. Yeah, Petty D is taking over the show, y'all. I want you to know. I hope all is well. I'm following up my previous email about a full stack lead developer, AWS architect open position. We had just opened at a major client. The role is mostly remote with up to 4 days a month on site in Charlottesville, Fort Belfort, or Springfield, Virginia. It's either or. It's not all three locations. It's either or. For this position, the candidate must have a TS with an SCI adjudication, where needed a developer with hands-on experience in engineering and building software solutions using languages to include Golang, APIs, building software releases, experience designing and automating provision of cloud resources such as infrastructure as code. Basically, you're probably creating applications and deploying them in a pipeline with tools such as Terraform, Vault Secret Manager, Platform as a Service technologies, including Kubernetes and experience with Red Hat, command line interface with Bash and GitLab and Microsoft. Same thing I've been talking about for weeks and months and years. This is all the same thing. It looks more like a software developer, but still DevSecOps, still that developer security operation type of situation and understanding containers. That's where Kubernetes comes into play. Would you be open to discuss further? If so, when it's best time to connect? The compensation ranges is from 220 to 240. 220 to 240 for that. And that's from Donald Hannes. Is it Hannes? Is that I guess you say his name? All right. So that's one position. All right. So my next position, let me pull this up. And let me go look at his link. And then let me pull up these jobs. Apply for jobs. All right. Genesis 10 is the company that Mario was talking about. But they have other jobs on here. And let me blow that up some. 1,244 jobs. I'll give this link, and you all can go from there and do your own search. Just gonna talk through some things. He has positions for a program manager in California, a program manager in Sunnyvale, one's in Mountain View, one's in Sunnyvale, a SAP functional consultant in Atlanta, a senior DevOps person in Atlanta, a SCADA person in Minnesota, application programmer in Charlotte. I'm just kind of scrolling through. Data governance associate in New York, a marketing coordinator in Minnesota. Let me keep going here. IT database administrator in Cleveland, venture capital business development manager for EdTech out of New York. Right. So those that are interested in working with some companies to do some work as a business development manager, right? Understanding, keeping things in the pipeline, right? A UX person, a lead specialist, some stuff out of Waldorf, Maryland for maintenance technician, Agile Scrum Master out of Charlotte, a IT specialist out of North Carolina. We got an admin assistant out of Dallas, full stack engineer out of Hopkins. And I'm not gonna go through everything, but you can see here we could kind of filter by cities, or by states, I should say. So let's go with Florida. I think I gotta hit filter down here somewhere. I search jobs. So 28 jobs out of Florida here. All right. Salesforce tester, Treasury Enterprise Capital Management Tech Consultant. I don't even know what that means. Just a treasurer, I guess. Creating and maintaining business plans, act as a SME in various capacities and identify 10 years of experience, W2, no court to court, big data architectures, and cloud computing. Okay, I thought that seemed awfully off. Tech consultant. Um, Knowledge of SQL, deep understanding of capital markets with focus on credit risk, market risk, and capital calculations. Right? Interesting. All right. Let's keep going. Looks like it's four positions for that. Credit market risk PM, a technical project manager, a business analyst, a data analyst, a senior Python developer, Salesforce Lightning developer, or a Java developer. That was all in Florida, right? Let's scroll back up here. Let's get rid of Florida. I'm not sure why you want to go to New York unless you got family there, but it's expensive. So let's see.
And it is disgustingly dirty.
Hmm.
It's disgusting.
Let me hit search. 126 jobs. Looks like the same. .NET product owner, entry level developer, no experience. This is the Dev 10 stuff that he was talking about. Or you'll be on site in what you call it. So they're hiring college grads and career changers interested in software development in New York, accepting applications for October the 17th through 2022. Java start date, the deadline to apply is by September the 2nd of 2022. Dev 10 hires ambitious graduates looking to launch their career in software development. This is a 27-month role begins within 3 months of intensive training where you'll learn necessary skills necessary to excel as a software developer. No experience required. Upon completing training, you're promoted to a software development consultant and gain 2 years of in-person project experience as a top tier organizations in building and deploying complex technologies. These projects include full stack application, Salesforce, Pega, QA, automation, and more. This is a full time job that pays with benefits. If you feel the need to add additional technical skills or wish you could go back to school for software development, this is a great opportunity. It's a 27-month commitment. And people get mad at me because I was saying that you all need a minimum of 6 months to learn DevSecOps. And they were mad at me, and it's 27 months. And we try to get you employed. Why are you doing it? Sorry, y'all. Not mine. 3 months of training in full stack, including React, Spring, REST, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and SQL, Docker. 2 years of in-person hands-on technology experience with diverse clients, paid training, and competitive salaries. Benefits include dental vision, 401k, paid time off, career guidance from a Dev 10 mentor, bachelor's degree, and so forth. And here's your responsibilities here, and here's Dev 10, and here's Dev 10 consultants right here. Um, Cloud engineer, architect, so forth. We're seeking talented, load it up. We're seeking talented and passionate people to join the Dev team, bachelor's degree, no programming experience required, associate's degree in Wisconsin, dedicated and willing to put in extra time and effort needed to tackle projects, passion for technology, unlimited work authorization, unless prohibited by law, full proof of full COVID-19 or C-19 vaccination will be required into entry of the program. We first like to get to know you. Apply today. Information session, aptitude test, behavioral interview, web development course. Final group interview become a Dev 10 consultant. And I'll get this to you, and you all can go from there. You want a game plan for 400K? You need to sign up for the classes. I mean, for the one-on-one, so we can come up with a game plan. And I don't know what that means when you say you want to make 400K a year. That's why I say that. It could be 200K from a job, and it could be 200K from real estate. It could be 400K from a job. It could be 350, $50,000 sign-on bonus. I mean, list goes on, right? So that's the Dev 10, right? And I put the link in it, gave the link to D. She could put it in chat. Tableau developer, professional compliance manager. Here. It's remote. This is a 6 month contract position with a financial services client. This position can be 100% remote. Genesis 10 is seeking a compliance manager who can support ongoing TM activities. This position can be 100% remote. 2 to 3 years of financial experience, familiar with AML, BSA, Microsoft Excel, AML monitoring, correspondent banking and sanctions controls, must have a PC and reliable internet, able to sort through wire transaction details, and able to work as a W 2 employee, not court to court. All right. All right. Let's go back up here. Let's switch up how we look. Let's look up straight contract. 987 jobs for contracting. Interaction designer, program manager, senior DevOps person, QA, SCADA. Let me see what they say on senior DevOps. I'm looking to see if like you're working a contract. This is a 12-month contract position. On site in Atlanta. It's just in Atlanta. W-2. Right? 12 factor React. 12 factor app. All right. Let's see what else we got. IBM engineer. It's in Minnesota. All right. Again, this is all. Um, I guess you as the contractor working for him and then going from there. IT project manager, identity access leader, Scrum, application architect, IT security specialist, portfolio management specialist. This is a 6-month contract located in Dallas. This role requires being on site 1 day a week. You're a senior IT financial manager in all aspects, technology demands management process. This include analyzing and managing technology capital project demand in alignment with annual funding targets. Right? Basically, you're looking at and setting up budgets. You can have a degree in accounting, right? And still work as a portfolio management specialist. Let's look and see. Technical change coordinator, EDI HIPAA transaction, help desk. Um, I hope these look interesting to you. I hope these something you can see yourself doing. Mm, .NET, IT software developer specialty 4. This is in the financial industry. 8 years of experience required. XML, Java, JSP, ETL, detail oriented. Looks like you'll be doing some Q&A, right? Code, logical and physical database description and specify identifiers of the database to management system or direct others in coding descriptions. That's it. I don't want to keep going. I don't want to bore you to death with looking at the various jobs that they have. Um, again, how you filter on site, all remote, whatever, right? So you can filter that way. If you wanted to look at it, marketing coordinator, full stack, digital analytics manager, project manager, non IT. Um, it's a 6-month contract located in Pennsylvania. They got their requirements there, right? Non IT. So somebody may want to go that route too. Let's go to the third. Issue resolution coordinator, project manager, product owner, IT analyst. So you got a couple of jobs on here that I think y'all could give a look over to see what you like. Fill out the application. Get things going, get the ball moving. All right, that was it. Oh, what do you say? You say something in the background? No, you didn't. Okay, cool. Uh, Nobody's coming up. Mm, I can't hear you. Mm.
I haven't dropped the stream yet. I was waiting for you to give me the
Oh, okay. I thought you dropped it.
no.
Oh. I was gonna say, well, if nobody coming up, we end the show. Look at that. 30 minutes for a show. Can you believe it?
No,
We don't want to hold you up.
absolutely not.
We don't want to hold you up. Feel free to come up, ask your questions, be respectful of others that may be waiting in the queue as well too. Any stipulations for people coming up, D?
They have to be camera ready. great light so that we can see you. I don't have anything else after that.
What if they not camera?
Preferably not too noisy. No bonnets, no
What
do
what what
rags.
what if they not camera ready? Can they still come up
No,
and just ask their question and just
they can type that in the chat.
okay? I was asking. You know, that's all. All right. Let me see. Let me pull on over here because you did the intro. I don't know why you didn't have the recording set up.
I mean, these are our people. We do it for the people. These are our people. I am looking in the chat.
I'm talking about the commercial.
I
The
hadn't
intro.
uploaded it yet into the thing. I hadn't did all of that stuff, and I didn't want to, let the stream drop.
Nick, long as you know D don't play, you know.
You know, aesthetically, because Tam acts like I'm not here for the people, but aesthetically, I want it to be a nice looking stream because at the end of the day, if you are what is that disabled in any way, sometimes it's easier to see visual. So when you see those little dots and you don't know what's going on, and say the caption is not set up, it's just easier for people to read lips and all that other type of stuff. So it's a method to my madness.
Nick
And we
Barker.
want to see your faces. We want people to see. We want you to connect with real people, asking really good questions. So it's not that I don't play. It's I have a reason behind everything that I do for the people. And I don't play.
Okay. All right. All right. So Linux. I'm not sure what all y'all want to know that you don't get on the meetup that we don't talk about in the meetup. And uh
Petty. He's so petty.
what was petty?
You
What is petty? What is petty? I know. Don't shh. Thank you. I know some of you have been asking questions about how to study. I think I kind of covered that last week on last week's show on the different platforms you can study on. But do you understand that you can also study on the different clouds as well too? If you wanted to, you could set up use the free tier AWS and go from there. And start well, let me yeah, just AWS, GCP, and Azure, right, are the ones that you can set that up on. The other one is I think you'll find where you start seeing some value at is Terraform Cloud. um can I get my screen share, please? All right, Terraform Cloud. Uh, Reason why I like Terraform Cloud, let me get signed in. Is because now y'all you can actually use it from command line. I actually have my some of my stuff set up via command line. I think this is the right one. Yeah. Right. So with the workspaces, like I could go to my GitLab, sign in with GitLab, and actually I don't even have to sign in with GitLab. So let's create a new workspace. Right. Version control or CLI. So I can do my CLI, and I can just say live class, um, and it's just me. You don't have to type like this. I want to say Saturday, right? Example show on uh, Terraform from CLI, and we'll create the workspace. All right. So then Once you do that, I have to do a set of instructions, right? I have to do a Terraform login on the command line and use by using the credentials block, right? And then add this example code to my .tf file right here, and then do a Terraform initialize and a Terraform apply. Now, what happens is I'll run Terraform from my actual workspace, for my actual CLI. And then once I run Terraform for my actual CLI, depending on where I have my credentials set up for, like AWS or GCP or what have you, I'll then create, after I create my TF files, my main, my network and load balancer, whatever I'm going to create, right? And wherever I'm going to create, I'll then push everything. I won't push everything. I'll then run a Terraform init and Terraform plan and apply, and it'll go out and create those things out there for me. And then they also have like a CLI workflow. Let me get my thing here. So here, let's talk about this workflow. Try Terraform Cloud from the CLI. Terraform Cloud has three workflows: the UI, which is your GitLab, GitHub, or Circle CI, what have you, Jenkins, or you can use the API driven workflow or the CLI, right? So in summary, and let me blow this up some. The CLI brings Terraform Cloud's collaboration features into familiar Terraform CLI workflow. It offers the best of both worlds for developers who are already comfortable with Terraform CLI and they can work with existing CI/CD pipelines. You run your standards, the Terraform plan and Terraform apply, init, plan and apply, and these runs execute remotely in Terraform Cloud. They use variables from their appropriate workspace to enforce an applicable Sentinel policy. So Sentinel is Terraform, or I should say Terraform Cloud's way we can do policy as code. So if I want to, if when I say policy as code, meaning I want the user who is, say, user 123, right, or U123, to only be able to do init and plan in a particular workspace, and then they have to wait to get approval to do the apply by someone else who has to review their code or something like that. I can set that up to do that, right? I can also restrict what type of instances that you can deploy. Like instead of in AWS, instead of I can limit you to T2 mediums and down. You can't deploy GPUs or bare metal machines or stuff like that. Like I can set up policies to do that. Terraform Cloud offers two CLI runs to support different stages: your plan, all right, and then your apply. To supplement these remote operations, you can also use the optional Terraform provider, which interacts with the resources supported by Terraform, right? And when we talk about your Terraform, also you have to look at Terraform registry. All right, so with Terraform registry, this is where we come and have different providers from AWS to Azure, Alibaba Cloud, DNS, console, um, just different places where I want to deploy. Um, you can deploy a GKE cluster. So we can go, say, GKE cluster, Terraform. All right, so here, the provision a GKE cluster with Terraform, and they have like how you can install your brew, your cloud init, get authorization, create your workspace. And here they already have, and this is one of the training exercises that they have. I can download this GKE cluster repo, CD over to that, and then in here you'll find VPC, GKE, Terraform bars, and so forth. And here's where I replace it with my project ID and so forth. And then cloud config, get value project. You can find your project, or I can just get the value of my project ID. I can also go log in and get that. Then Terraform initialize and so forth. All right, so let's walk through this so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This won't include me using Terraform. Um, I won't be using Terraform Cloud right now. This is just to be uh straight command line without Terraform Cloud. All right. So let me get logged into my workspace, my cloud workspace. And feel free if you all got questions. I'm just running through some stuff, like we talk about with DevSecOps and Kubernetes and so forth. All right, so let me get the ID here. I have my ID right here. So let's walk through the steps. Let me pull up a terminal. And then we'll make it, well, let me not make it bigger like that. Let me do this and then make it bigger like that. Let it make it bigger for me. Okay, this says it takes 10 minutes to do this. All right. So I'm gonna make a dir, and I'm gonna say um and then we'll CD over to that. And the reason why is because I wanna show you that it creates a state in here and you can go from there. All right. Any questions so far? If you got questions, drop them in the chat. If you like what you're seeing, drop a one. And then let's go. Let's just read through the documentation as the documentation says, right? And I guess one of the first questions you will have was what is GKE? GKE is Google's Kubernetes, um, Google's managed cluster, and its managed cluster is Kubernetes, right? And with deploying Kubernetes, what can we do? Well, remember on the earlier show, I was talking about your main node and then your three nodes. I was saying they call it a master node if you really want, but I just say main for the intense purposes of trying to remove the word master from the actual stuff. So anyway, language, I should say. So anyway, you'll have one main node, and let me pull up a diagram. GKE cluster example, and then let's look at images. I think this should be fine. Yeah. All right. So me as the user, after I build this, out, I'll have my set of nodes out here that I can deploy my containers to or my applications to that are held in containers. And then I'll take them and I'll deploy them out to my GKE cluster. And you see here, I'm the user and I'm using what we call the kubectl command. And that kubectl command will be installed on my system, all right, for me to do the deployment out. And then once we get this application deployed, which will be a container, right? And I'll use a YAML file to deploy that out. And there are certain nuances in that YAML file that you'll need to know why you're deploying it. And that gets into the pods, and it gets into the type of services that you want and so forth. So, and the namespaces. And then from there, we have these Google Cloud services that are available to us, like virtual networking, persistent disk, the load balancer. Stackdriver is used for monitoring the machines or whatever you push out to the cloud, right? So that's what that is. All right, we got somebody in the back, and we'll stop right there, and then we'll get back to it after this. Hey,
Hey Tam, how are you?
I'm awesome about yourself.
Doing good. So I had a question as far as I'm looking into
Is this the question that you had in the thing? Yeah, I answer that.
kind of. Oh, you
Okay,
did? I
not yet, not yet. I hadn't answered it yet, but to answer it, it's up to you, right? You can go down the route of learning cloud first, or you can go down the route of learning Linux first. It depends on what you're comfortable with right now. Either way it go, it's gonna come back to you understanding how to use the command line to do deployments. And if you start moving into Kubernetes, you're most definitely gonna need some Linux troubleshooting skills. Not necessarily um not necessarily like how trying to find out what the largest file is on the system, but it may be a process that's eating up something out on the actual machine itself or something of that nature. So again, depends on how you see yourself, where you see yourself,
right. Yeah,
and
I'm
what.
kind of like in the beginning stages, just trying to look more, into it to see if I want to go that route. 'Cause
Oh, have you ever considered security?
I have, like, when I went to school for network security and administration.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was looking into security, I guess you would say I was overwhelmed because it's such a broad field that I
That's why,
didn't
that's
know.
why when people say I'm studying cybersecurity, I'm like, what does that really mean?
Yeah, so I didn't know where to start, and I was already learning like web development on my own, and then I went to a boot camp. So I just said, let me just stick with the web development. Maybe I'll come back later and look into security and kind of see.
And the reason why I say security, because I think you said you're already doing QA automation, right?
Right.
Right. So what if you added security to that QA automation, right? And
Okay.
looking at it from that perspective. That's just one aspect, right?
Right.
Another aspect is if you're doing QA automation, right? And testing. What about the testing of containers? So again, it kind of gets into security, but it's still around the same niche of work that you're already doing. So
Okay.
that's why I was like, well, there's so many different angles and routes to go from that, that you could take. But again, you can do the research and dibble and dabble, attend a seminar or something like that, see if you like it, if it makes sense to you or it don't make sense to you, and then make your decision from there. Now,
Okay.
the other thing I would also add is I will also look at, as you explore, like what do you want your end result to be, and then say, okay, what do I need to do to get there? Work backwards, right? I always like to work backwards
Okay.
when we're looking at stuff, only because it just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because now you can fully plot out what you need and where you want to go. Take the meat off the bones and throw the bones away,
Right.
and go from there. The other thing to be mindful of is not not just where you want to go, but what companies you want to work for, right?
Right.
Small, medium, or large, right? Right now, most of the startups are laying off, right?
Right.
I still haven't heard about Delta laying off, not yet, but I just haven't heard like the blue chip companies laying off. You can't tell me that Johnson and Johnson doesn't have an IT department.
Right.
I haven't heard them laying off. As much as people complain about Dollar General, I have not heard them laying off, right? They're still around. So that's why I say we have to like be mindful of where we want to go. Now, here's the caveat to some of those. Some of those companies don't have the bigger salaries, the $1 million, the $2 million salaries as such and such. So that's why I try to show you all that okay, if I made 240, right, for the next 5 years, that could be my $1 million, right?
Right.
Now I look at Okay, maybe I don't do it in 1 year, but I do it over the 5 years. Now, how can I make that 5 years? Each year I have an investment property. Each year I gain an asset, right? Each year I gain something that, like, maybe the first year I get, I got my job and I'm getting 240, but I'm paying off bills. But let me go ahead and spend $2,000 and buy an I bond. And then maybe the next year I'm like, oh, I've saved up enough money, I can go buy more. Oh,
Right.
and the third year I really got enough money, I can go buy a rental property.
Right.
And then the fourth year, oh, I got X, Y, and Z saved up, and I can go buy another asset, right? But now you look at them 5 years, you bought in probably three or four or five different asset classes, which now builds up your net worth. And on top of that, some of that could be income producing as well too. And now you look at the end of your 5 years and your journey, and you look back and you're like, oh, I most definitely can't go lower than 240 on my next move, whatever
Right.
that looks like, right? If you stay that long. But I'm just saying, each year, and this is just a rule of thumb: new skill, new asset, new skill, new asset, new skill, new asset, right? Your reward for your new skill is a new asset, and you keep moving up that way. And by the time you finish on 5 years, you look back and you're like, man, I've improved my skills and my assets, and I've grown over time. So, that's just my thought, and that's just how I've looked at things. But you know, everybody to each his own. But
Yeah.
that was my best advice for you, is to I would look at security for that, because you're already doing automation, and adding security testing and automation to that is a big area.
Okay.
And when I say it's a big area, meaning like, where is, again, going back to that supply chain thought, like, where's the software coming from? Where is where's the software coming from? Where is the container coming from? Who, that whole realm around compliance is big. And then you may start looking at security and data analysis and combining the two. But again,
Right.
I would add, if I were you, I would most definitely add security to that.
Okay. Okay.
I know
Yeah.
it's a lot. Just play back the video.
Yeah, I will. I just it sounds like a good plan what you're saying. I'm thinking through like what's my next step, like because I'm in my first like tech role
Mm-hmm.
in a fintech company.
Well, what is it that you don't like about where you're at right now?
I like it, but I want to be thinking towards the future. Like, you know,
Do you
I
have a do you have an income plan, or do you have like a asset plan? You have an estate plan? Like, what is all of that? And this kind of goes back to some of our other shows. And
right.
and the reason why I'm asking you these questions is because I never had nobody to ask me these questions.
Hmm.
I came through, right? So you're getting a head start on a lot of people, right? So again, going back, let's all right, clean slate. Let's go back and look at that three bucket strategy, right? Remember we talked about that three bucket strategy, and we talk about having your skills that you have now,
Right.
your skills that you want later on, and then your long-term skills. All
Right.
right. Your long-term skills, to me, anybody who knows, I'm always going to push Linux, but it's also Linux security, cloud. Those three areas are not going anywhere no time soon.
Right.
You include testing in that. I think I said security, but you include testing, security, Linux, cloud. All those are long term things. So if you ever decided that, hey, I want to go and dive off into data analysis or whatnot, your again, that teeth shape, your core set of skills that you're gonna have with you, that's gonna be in your short term, your midterm, and your long term, are gonna always be there. And you have to look at it from this perspective. If I don't like it, I can fall back to these skill sets,
Right.
right?
Right.
And when I say I can fall back to these skill sets, I fall back to these skill sets that are going to make me money and not lose me money and not lose my traction that I already have.
Yeah.
That and so when you're thinking about what your next steps are, think about what your T shape is. What are you really good at across the board? And then what do you want to dive into? Just like the letter T, that is your T shape. And when you start looking at it like that, you're gonna look at it and say, okay, this can make me money now, and this can make me money in the long term, just across the board, right? And when you start focusing in on whatever it is that you want to focus in, just know that at that point they're looking, that's more like a specialization. So what do you want to specialize in?
Okay.
So think of it that way. And when you start looking at it from that perspective, you'll start looking at what skills do I have now? And then when you start looking at where you want to go, you can say, can I use these same skills that I have that are my long term skills in this? And I can add on a little hot sauce, whatever that
Okay.
hot sauce may be. And at
Okay.
this time, I think for you, for cloud, well, for QA automation and testing, it's super huge if you add a security component, and that's going to be all together. It's like they're almost like, I don't know, this is a bad term I'm using here. I don't want to say they're like a throuple. They're just like they're best friends of each other. Like,
Yeah.
if I got Linux, I got cloud. If I got cloud, I got security. If I got security, I got, I got testing. Like I'm just it's we're just all a one big happy family, if you want to say, we're one big community. And
Yeah.
at that community, in that community, we may have some specializations within that. Like somebody's really, really, really good at testing, but they're not really good at programming. They're just
Okay.
really good at testing, right? So again, that's just my thoughts on that. And people in the chat, feel free to add in your thoughts or whatever. Ethical Grace said that I'm in cybersecurity, and I agree. Linux, cloud, cyber, all intertwined. There's no downside to learning those skill sets. Yeah, it's just going to be with you for the rest of your career, and you're going to look back and say, I used this at this time, I used that at that time, and you may use all three every single day.
Okay.
So you can't go wrong with, if you add cloud, cool. If you add security, cool. If you add Linux, cool. Right? There's no downside to add all of that.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Sounds
You're
like
welcome.
a plan. I'll
You're
do my
welcome.
research.
Okay. Yeah, just hit me up in Slack.
All right. Bye.
Appreciate you. Donald said he just did his network calculate. I'm so surprised. I think I may have done something wrong. I told you. Do your network calculator. You'll see. You'll be surprised at how much you actually are worth. Sir Harold Speaks, welcome. Thank you. Nisi, I saw that. What you think? I appreciate that. I'm a woman in cybersecurity. Lending comes in handy all the time. All the time. All the time. It's just one of them lifetime skills. That's right. Thanks, Stacy, for coming up. Security testing. Aisha, yeah, security testing. Testing of containers, right? Testing of the software itself. Testing cloud testing, right? Deployments in the cloud. Compliance, right? That's another one. Compliance, cloud testing, right? So here, compliance in the cloud. How 5 steps to secure multi-cloud, right? Say I do a cloud deployment in AWS, Google, GCP, or Oracle, but I want to have, and this is where the testing comes in at, right? I want to deploy this cloud, deploy these resources, but I want to make sure that the people that has access to what they need, that we verify that that's there. So I may create a test, right? A security test to make sure that, or I should say a test to make sure that what I'm deploying is actually secure. And on top of that, I may want to also double check what type of access those people have. So instead of me logging in and doing all of that, I write infrastructure as code that handles that for me, and then I also test those things, and then and make sure that that's the actual case. So that's what we're talking about with compliance and security testing. I have a set of a set of I have a set of containers, right? So I may use something like JFrog, Artifactory to uh, deploy the push my containers to. I then use X-Ray, which is a that's actually a paid one on with JFrog to scan my containers for vulnerabilities. So before I deploy the container to my actual cluster, my GKE cluster, I know for a fact that it has vulnerabilities in it. So I'm not going to introduce a vulnerability to my cluster. I'm going to update that container and then deploy my actual container. Well, push it back up to my JFrog repository, right, or registry, I should say. And once I push it back up, then I'll deploy it onto my cluster. But now I've prevented the introducing the vulnerability to my cluster and to the company or to whatever, right, to the project. So I'm ahead of the game. And so with JFrog will scan the container while it's in the registry before you deploy it. Argo CD. Let me look here. So here we go, right here. I'll blow this up some. Here would have the Argo CD, and a lot. Some people use Argo, some people don't. So here we go. Uh, why Argo CD? Application definitions, configuration, and environment should be declarative and version control. Application deployment and lifecycle management should be automated, audible, and easy to understand. So here they're creating an actual namespace onto a cluster. Remember, I told you kubectl would be your command that you're going to use to deploy something onto a cluster. This also says that you have authentication on your CLI to communicate to that cluster, right? And then we have Argo CD that we're going to download. And again, it was a YAML file, and then we're going to install it. And it said, how does it work? Argo CD follows GitOps. GitOps, when we start talking about GitOps, there's a whole book, there's a whole website, there's plenty of information about GitOps when we're talking about this particular strategy. Pattern for using Git repositories as a source of truth. My Git repository is my source of truth. Whatever's deployed out there inside of my on my in my infrastructures for whether it's VMware, whether it's OpenStack or OpenShift, my Git repository is my source of truth. And so I should be able to look at my Git repository and read through my main branch and say that, oh, this is what's out there. Not in my not in, if I'm using branching strategy, not in my staging branch or my secondary branches or what have you, right? My Helm charts, my JSONet files, plain directory and YAML, any customer config, and so forth, right? Argo CD automates the deployment of the desired application states in the specified target environments. Applications deployments can be tracked to branches, and I'll go back to my Terraform Cloud and show that tags and so forth. Now, if I come back over here to my Terraform Cloud, right here, you can see I have my tags over here. I can also run this in certain branches and so forth. Like, so I can have my staging set up to deploy to a sandbox in a staging sandbox in Google Cloud. And then once I work out all the kinks that I have and so forth and so on, then I can deploy. Once I get the kinks worked out and everything, I can then deploy to I'll have a review, and then we'll have that added to the main branch after they did a review and so forth and so on. And then we'll add that to the main branch. And then once we add that to the main branch, then we'll deploy to our production area. Now that may come with another set of stipulations. You may find that in staging, you don't care, or in the sandbox, you don't care nothing about security. You're just playing, you're just trying to figure things out, blah, 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 blah. And then maybe you get to stage and you add in security and you add in some other things that you may need depending on the projects or whoever you're working with. And then production, you may need to add some scanning tools, or you may need to add some other things that are needed for that particular one. All right, so then once you do that and you deploy it into production, it's ready to go. It's full system, boom, hands off. And in your sandbox, you should be working on, like, how do I get rid of manual processes, like logging into AWS and spinning up an instance. No, I should be using infrastructure and code to spin up that instance, right? I should be doing that, right? You're working towards that. First, you got to see how things work. How do I automate stuff? Like, nobody's gonna give you you're not gonna come in knowing how to automate things automatically. You're gonna have to learn how to automate things. So that's your playtime. And then once you get done with that, once you figure that out, then you move on to that. Yep, it still works on the compliance too, right? Still works on the compliance as well too. All right. So that's a little bit of overview of that. So let's get back. I don't think nobody's in the back. D, any questions in the chat that I missed? Mm-mm-mm. Yep. No. Okay. All right. All right. So let me double check everything, making sure I didn't miss nobody. All right. Cool. All right. So let me bring my screen back up. My terminal. All right. Like I said, there's nothing here. Right. All right. We were here. This is where we were at. All right, GKE. All right. In this tutorial, you're going to deploy a 2-node separately managed node pool. 2-node separately managed node pool GKE cluster using Terraform. This GKE cluster will be distributed across multiple zones for HA. Again, we're doing high availability across zones, right? You got regions and zones, right? And then it says we will configure kubectl using the Terraform output to deploy a Kubernetes dashboard on the cluster, right? All right. So this is going to charge me at 10 cents per hour, right? And one zonal cluster per billing account is free. As a result, you may be charged to run these examples, blah, blah, blah. I will be charged because I don't have a free account. Why deploy with Terraform? United workflow, full lifecycle management, graphs of relationships. I've said this before. Do y'all know who runs Kubernetes clusters at their registers? I've said this before. $5 to somebody who remembers this. I know D knows. D, you in the background. We can't hear you. We still can't hear you. I can't hear you. You got to come up. I'm sorry. Who is it?
I mean, I know, but it doesn't matter. Can't say nothing. She don't give me the
Yes, she paid attention. She knows. I sent her $5. Send her $5. Even though you
let Stacy G go ahead and drop Tam a DM with your Cash App or Venmo or Zelle.
Yeah, I'll do that after the show. All right. So graph of relationships and so forth. Prerequisite. This tutorial assumes some familiarity with Kubernetes. If you are not familiar with Kubernetes and you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the Linux or go to edX. And then type in type in Kubernetes. Kubernetes fundamentals. Right, here's the course right here. It is free, and it goes and talks about basically Monolith to microservices, container orchestration, Kubernetes, installing, setting up a single node cluster, how to use Minikube, services, deploying a standalone application, config maps, ingress, some advanced topics, and then a final exam, right? You can audit the track for free, and it expires on the 15th. If you want a verified check, 149, right, and go from there, right? That's free. Just a basic overview of what Kubernetes is, right? Um, yeah, right. And then if you want to be advanced, you can go CKA exam, and you can take it from the Linux Foundation. So they have various ones. So it's the Kubernetes administrator, then they have the Kubernetes developer, and then they have the security one. And here's a little bit more in depth here: 10% storage, 30% troubleshooting, 15% scheduling, 25%, and then 20%. Right. The exam is 2 hours. It's valid for three years. Includes a 12-month eligibility, one retake, a PDF when you get the badge, and it's performance based, and you got a simulator, right? And then they give a curriculum overview in the handbook. So this was updated 5 months ago. So here's the curriculum overview in the exam. They talk about the application and design, understanding multi-container pod design patterns, application deployment, deploying with Helm, service and networking, observability, config maps, understanding secret accounts and security context, understanding CRD, discover the use resources that extend Kubernetes, right? And then a little bit more in this handbook. Yeah, that's it. That's all they had in the handbook, right? So just to give you an overview there, right? We can back up. And there is also the CKS um, Linux Foundation. So with the CKS exam here, again, certified Kubernetes security specialist. Um, you must be a CKA first. CKS is an exam, is a performance-based exam certification. Cluster setup, cluster hardening, system hardening, minimize microservices, supply chain security. This goes back to what I was saying before. Monitoring, logging, and runtime security. Goes back to what I was saying before. Right. All right. And then last but not least, just the CKAD. And here, this is the certification is for Kubernetes engineers, cloud engineers, and other IT professionals responsible for deploying, configuring cloud native applications. CKAD has been developed by the Linux Foundation and the Cloud Native Foundation to help expand the Kubernetes ecosystem through standardized training and certification. This is a proctor exam and so forth. This is the Kubernetes application developer can design, build, and deploy cloud native applications for Kubernetes. Design, build, and deploy. So more on the developer side, that's really what that is, right? More on the developer side. You don't have to be a developer if you want to learn Kubernetes. You don't have to be. Helps, but you don't have to be, right? All right, so let's go back to here. We got a GCP account. We have the SDK installed. I'm a little ahead of the game. I'm on Mac. I'm going to just copy this. I think, yeah, my cloud is already there. Let me just do a cloud init. Let me get my thing set up here. It's going to pop open the screen. So we're going to do G Cloud. I don't think I need to, but we'll do it anyway. G Cloud init. Yo, spell that right. All right, so reinitialize with default. Yeah, let's just reinitialize with default. Yeah. We'll do one because I have several projects, as you can see. Sure. And I'm gonna pick Central. It's up here at the top. We're gonna go with let's go West. Let's go with 12. And I'll have to change that in here. All right. So I should be up to date with everything. I'm going to deploy in the West. Now let's authenticate here. Bring my screen back up. There we go. All right, I'm logging in. It's on the other screen. It pops up on another screen, and it logs me in. And yes, allow. All right, cool. All right, that's clear. Okay, so we've initialized my G Cloud stuff. So how do we know we initialized my G Cloud um, commands? So I'm looking up G Cloud commands, right? We'll use the G Cloud cheat sheet. All right, so here is the G Cloud cheat sheet. So I did the initialize. I can install specific components, but let's update because I think I may be I may be out of of my SDK. I hadn't used it in a while, so let's do that. So what command are we gonna run? I already set the project here. This is the command we're gonna run. We're gonna do G Cloud components update. Right, yep. See, I want to run that update. All right, so it's setting up and running my update for me. Added G Cloud Terraform Vet to beta. To tell you what is updating G Cloud Edge Cloud Container, Cloud Spanner Compute Engine, Cloud Composer, right? Kubernetes Engine, GKE Hub, Compute Engine, Cloud Storage, Cloud Spanner, Healthcare, and then they just tell you what they've all done. And you can see here it's uninstalling and installing some newer tools for me, right? And then you can run, and this is all in Google Cloud that I'm doing this in, right? I'm checking for questions here. I don't know if Mickey D's and Starbucks is monitoring Chick-fil-A's usage of Kubernetes. I don't know. That'd be a good question. I don't know. All right, that's going to take some time, right? So let's walk through what we have to do so we know what we have to do. So we're going to clone this. Now, in order to clone this, there's a command here that's up here first, git. So you need to have git installed on your machine in order to do a git clone. So then you do a git clone, and you're going to clone that directory. And then inside of this particular folder that's going to get created, there is a folder called Learn Terraform Provision GKE. And you can see here, you can just copy these commands and go from here. And in there, you'll find some Terraform files. The Terraform files, they're end in .tf. And so vpc.tf, gke.tf, and Terraform vars are for your, or what you're going to have for your that you're going to put in for your project ID and your regional variables and so forth, and then your version of Terraform that you're using. And so we'll find out what our version of Terraform that we're using. I'm going to have to update my particular stuff with what my project ID is And then my regional location. Remember when I picked you the west and so forth? So I'm gonna have to pick that. I'm gonna have to put that in there so I can get the cloud. And it says the region by default is this, but you can get the results of that. And I can also, we go back and look at our cheat sheet. Um, I can do G Cloud info displays current G Cloud environment details, so I can probably use that as well, right? So then once I do that, I need to initialize the workspace. I don't have to do anything, but we're gonna look at the files. Then I initialize the workspace. What happens during initialization? So this question is an actual question from the Terraform, the actual Terraform exam. What happens when you initialize? Basically, you're updating the registry, you get gathering new files and so forth. You just initializing right here, and it shows right here: initializing provider plugins, initializing the backend, reusing previous versions of HashiCorp Google from dependency log, installing HashiCorp, so doing a default install of everything, right? That we're going to use that we have actually listed in our files, right? When we talk about the providers and so forth. Now we're going to come down here and we're going to do this Terraform apply. They're skipping the plan. I'll do the plan because they just did initialize, and then I'll do the plan so you can see the difference between the plan, the initialize, the plan, and the apply. And then they show you here that everything that's got a plus is create. If it's got a minus, it is a delete. And then we'll go and look at my cluster and we'll see what's out there on my cluster. And now they say, hey, we're going to run this command here. G-Cloud container, get the credentials in the raw output, copy, and then fetch it for me. And then we're supposed to deploy access Kubernetes dashboard. And then we're going to run this command here. It's going to create a namespace, a service account, and a service force. It'll create a couple of things actually here. And then we're going to then use kubectl, create a kubectl proxy that allow you to navigate and go from there. And then from my machine, I should be able to get to the dashboard. So we can see just the cluster. So we're just going to run through here and see. All right, so let's scroll back up to see where we were at before. We got some work to do. Any questions so far? You can drop them in the chat. Let me know if you're enjoying or whatnot. But this is the other end of the DevSecOps. Linux is the beginning end, and then Kubernetes is the other end, right? We start out with Linux as a foundation, then we build up over time to get to Kubernetes. But you can actually start with Kubernetes if you understand Linux well enough and go from there. And if you don't want to do either one of those, Linux or Kubernetes, you can go start with the cloud and go from there. My rule of thumb, again, being T-shaped, being very broad, where you can go in and out of lanes, that makes you more lethal. It keeps you around a little longer when you're talking about these different jobs. All right, so I should be done. Yeah, I am. All right, so now that I'm done with that, we have some work to do on our own. All right, we talked about this. So first things first, let's get the clone. Let's make this easy on myself. We're gonna do this. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Make that easy on myself. All right, we're gonna clear my screen. All right, so I am. Where my mouse at? All right. We did the git clone, so let's paste. And I'm in the empty folder. All right, so when I do an ls, you see I have that learn cloud provision GKE. CD over to that. And now you can see these TF files. You see that YAML file that we're going to deploy. We have outputs that we want to see. We have our GKE. We got a README, the whole nine, right? I'm not going to go through those just yet. right? And they tell you what they are, but I'm not going to go through those. Let's get here so we can deploy and then we can play. All right, so here I need to find out my region, my project ID. All right, so if I scroll back up and grab that region, I'm cheating. I was going to use the command, but then I mean I got to come out of this cheat sheet situation. I may have to come out. Let me see. I chose 12. No, I didn't. I chose, yeah, I chose 12, I think. Yeah, 12. So I chose this one. All right. Now they're saying going to the Terraform vars. Now Terraform vars, TF vars are, and you're gonna have to look this up for Terraform. Which vars come have precedence over each other, right? One from like if you pass when you're running a command, one if you're in the actual GUI itself, and then if you have defined variables, who takes precedence. But the Terraform vars is pretty much like, hey, what you need to set for your environment, right? So here, I'm not in that region. Right? I didn't set my command line up for that region. We're going to do that one. And then I am going to type in I think it's called desktops dash women in Linux. And I'll double check that real quick. Let me go to my console right quick and check my project that I want to deploy to. Yeah, yeah, desktop. Okay, so this all in and with there. All right, next thing you know, I could have did that too. Right here, it's clear. It says G Cloud config get value project. So it's gonna go out and grab that value for me, right? Um, and I don't think I can get region. We'll see. I just replace that with region. Is that possible? No, that's not possible. Okay, cool. All right, so now we need to initialize our space. Remember, there's nothing in my space right now, right? Nothing there in that folder. And I don't want to put my state in that folder. But I need to though. Well, I'm gonna move it out, but that's okay. Oops. I'm gonna work outside of that folder. All right, so we're going to terraform init, and then we'll do. Oh man, I'm not in the right one. Let's. All right, there we go. Sure. Sure. I don't want to do that. I guess I can ignore if I needed to upload. I was trying not to do that in here. We'll do terraform init. It's looking for the TF files and saying, don't you want to trigger to that directory? And the reason why I didn't want to do that, I wanted to keep it clean. Because you have this right here, you get this Terraform file, but you can, if you had to upload back to Git, you can set in your Git ignore file to ignore these hidden directories or hidden files and so forth, and upload back to your Git repository. All right, so we did a Terraform init, and then down here they say do a Terraform apply, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do a Terraform plan. So it's going to read those files and it's going to go out, and you're going to see that notice that in my environment, I don't have any of this stuff deployed. This is what makes Terraform different from Ansible, because Terraform maintains the state of what is deployed, right? So right now, my state is saying that you don't have anything deployed out here like that. So it's got the pluses all the way down, right? It's telling me it's going to add for my outputs, it's going to be the cluster host, the cluster name, the project ID, and the region. And it's also everything that here's plus is going to add. All right, so that's what you get for Terraform plan. Now I'm going to do the Terraform apply. So now it's saying, hey, you really want to do these things. I could have did Terraform apply dash auto approve if I wanted to, but I didn't. So I'm just type yes. So now it's going out there and it's creating my VPC. Let me refresh my browser here to see if you all see it. Let me see all activities. Hold on, I'm trying to bring it up. That's what I'm doing, trying to do. All right, so let's see if we can see it in here. All right, where is my thingy? All right, so GKE, let's go over here and let's look for our cluster. That's Kubernetes engine. And I think I'm seeing the wrong location. That's why we're not seeing the clusters, because this is probably central. Let me see how I can find my locations. Oh, we got an error. What happened? Oh, it didn't like it. Okay. Okay, that's fine. We'll change that real quick because it is in central. So we're going to change this to US Central 1. But I had to change my G Cloud stuff to US Central 1. Let's see. All right, in order to change my zone, let me do this because it's not finding it in that zone. All right, so bear with me. It's all about troubleshooting desktops. So I'm going to change my zone to US Central. So this is about the project. I should have did it correct. All right, that's fine. All right, so now let's change our default zone. Okay, I'm gonna have to run my G Cloud in it again. So, all right, let's try this command here, and let's back out of this. All the way back here, and then is it US Central 1? Yeah, US Central 1. I think that's all I needed. Yep. All right, and now we'll go G Cloud and then again. All right, yep. Yeah. Yep. Sure. And it should take me 7. I think I'm at 7. And don't ask me why that just turned green on me like that. I have no idea why that just turned green on me. I don't know why. All right, so let's try this Terraform. Um, yeah, we're in the right direction. Let's try this Terraform plan again. All right, let's do the apply. Let's see if it fails on us on this one. I forgot to auto approve. US invalid region. What? Oh, US Central 1. I might have been my problem the first time. Yes, oh, that might have been my problem the first time. All right, so it's creating. All right, so now I'm gonna go over to my console and here, and I'm gonna go to my GKE cluster. Okay, it's creating my cluster here. And you can see it's spinning up 3 nodes. The number of nodes estimated by the initial cluster. Because the cluster is being created, its Kubernetes control plane did not yet respond. That's why I got the I there. So it's doing its thing, right? And as you can see, it's configuring. This could take 5 minutes. It's deploying, it's doing health checks, and if I move this out the way, you can still see it's creating in the background. But I thought this is a little bit more easy on the eyes than the other stuff. And it gives you the version of the cluster. Let me blow it up some. It looks a little smaller screen. All right. All right, so I went here and then I went there. That's how I got there. All right, so it gives us the name of the cluster, desktop Women Linux dash GKE. We could control the name if we wanted to, right? We could control the name. We can control the region, but here's the default zone, node zones right here. Here's also the release, and it said there's an upgrade available, right? So I can pick an upgrade, and here's my endpoint that I'm actually that I'm going to talk to deploy my application to, right? And uh, probably end up seeing our web services and stuff. All right, so here is our private cluster, the networking, the pods. Here's the security, right? I have to enable that. I'll probably have to go back and do that. And then, oh, we're gonna have to do Anthos one day. I want to do an Anthos setup. Anyway, you get the idea here, right? And see, it's doing health checks right now, so it's deploying. So what's that look like on screen? You see, it's still going. Takes 5 minutes, like I say, so it's deploying health checks. Right? I don't have any workloads as of yet. Right? I don't have anything I've deployed. But let's go look at the services and ingress. Any applications with my config maps, storage, nothing, right? So I'm still in my deployment state, right? So this is going to take 5 minutes to deploy. So let me check the chat, make sure we don't have any questions and so forth. All right, and then what our next thing is going to be. So after we deployed this, right, you can now see Terraform apply will provision the VPC, the subnet, the GKE cluster, and the GKE node pool. Again, it takes approximately 10 minutes to deploy. Upon successful application, your terminal prints the outputs of the VPC and the GKE Terraform file, right? I mean, and the GKE cluster, right? It's going to give me IP addresses and so forth and so on. And it'll say here my output should be similar to the host, and we saw that IP address, the cluster name, the project ID, and then the region in which we deployed in. All right. And then we'll get credentials. We'll use this to get credentials so that from our command line we can deploy an application. That's what that is. All right. And then once we get our credentials, we'll then hop down here and deploy the Kubernetes dashboard, and they have in here what we're deploying. So remember in our folder, we had another YAML file, and I'll go back and show it to you. We had another YAML file in that folder. And that YAML file is what we're going to deploy. And that YAML file is going to do all these things once we do the deployment. And it's going to create a proxy server that will allow you to navigate to the dashboard from the web browser of your local machine. This will run until you hit Control C. So we'll type kubectl proxy, and then we'll be able to go to this on our local web browser. We should be able to hit this. I'm gonna have to come out of this split screen in order to do that. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I just bring this over. All right. Authentication to Kubernetes dashboard. To use the Kubernetes dashboard, you would need to create a cluster role binding and provide an authorization token. This gives the cluster admin permission to access the cluster dashboard. Authenticating kubeconfig is not an option. You can read more here. And in another terminal, do not close the kubectl process. Create a cluster role binding. So we'll use that and deploy it onto the system. And then we're going to generate a token. And we'll generate that token and it'll give us some output. And we're going to open up our selected token on the dashboard, then copy the token from the terminal into the dashboard. And then once we do that, if we need on the dashboard, click nodes on the left-hand side. Notice there are 6 nodes in your cluster, even though GKE num nodes in your GKE was set to 2. This is because the node pool was provisioned in each of the 3 zones. Remember, we got high availability with ours, right? And now we'll deploy, and we saw where the locations were. We saw in our terminal right here, right? We go back and click on this. We saw this USB-C, US Central B, F, and C, right? We saw that. And all that is configured in our Terraform files, right? Still going. And then they're showing you that. Then clean up your workspace and then go from there, right? Then you hit Terraform Restore. And this is all on their website for you to learn how to use Kubernetes to deploy a cluster, right? Thought it was pretty cool to run through. You see what you can do with Terraform. Well, what you can do with Terraform. And remember, I can download this repository, right? I can clone it and put it or fork it and put it into my own GitHub repo. Use Terraform Cloud CLI to set up everything for me and then deploy it out. I'm just cheating right now by using just this here. D, we didn't get nobody to come up.
Yeah, Stacy.
I mean, after Stacy, nobody.
No, you have a question.
Yeah, I saw that. Tam, what would you doing be considered as an integrate? No, Terraform would be automation to infrastructure as code. Literally, the infrastructure itself. You can use Ansible. You can use G Cloud. But there's no way to maintain the state using those, right? You can in Python, I think in Python, in AWS you use Bolto, or is it Bolto? But then I don't think it has a way to maintain state either, right? So here we're just deploying. This is gonna take forever. I don't, I know I want to finish it, but I don't know if I'm gonna have time to finish it. But again, This is just one example of what I'm referring to. Like you saw how I was troubleshooting through the actual commands to see what it was, what's going on, what error am I getting, what is that? To me, that's all about the baseline of not necessarily being a Linux administrator, just being a good I don't want to say a good admin, just a good steward of troubleshooting. Uh, Understanding what the errors at, what the problem is, what's going on, why are things acting the way they're acting, and going from there. I'm looking at this. All right, so now you can see now it's starting to provision the actual nodes, and it tells you the machine type. So in G Cloud, in GCP machine types, they have different machine types. So here's about the different machine types that you can get: general purpose, compute optimized, memory accelerator optimized. They got the different families, machine families, and they have the different series. For example, the N1 series is general purpose machine family, and the older versions of the N2 space. Generally, generations of machine series use a higher number, which is N2, and then you got machine type, and then your billings. Right, so you drop down here to general purpose machines. You got your E2, your N2, your NTD, so forth and so on. Right. Let's look at compute, C2, C2D, memory, and I believe we use the GPU platform. So we may deploy GPU platform, GPU. And then you got the regions that support some of these. Some regions don't support every single thing, right? You got your AMD and your Intel. Bare metal, GCP. Here we go. So I can deploy a bare metal machine out on Google Cloud. Set up a Google Cloud to work with your bare metal solution. Plan for bare metal. Let me see. That's not what I want. I don't want. I want to deploy bare metal machines out on GCP. Yeah, June Cloud. Okay, here we go. 2019. I thought they had it. Let me see what is it. Let's go back and let's go here and let's go here and then let's come here. So we can come here and we can deploy VMware Engine, batch, distributed computer. Here we do serverless, storage, appliances, databases, networking. Here is the CI/CD. So here's the container registry. Here's the artifact registry. Their registries also scan for viruses as well too. I don't see the one for bare metal. That's what I'm looking for. Looking to see if they have one in the listing for bare metal. I don't see that. Let's click back over to here. Oh, snap. Uh, 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 yeah, here we go. All right, looks like we got the blue. Yep, we're up and running. 6 nodes, 2 per zone, and we showing the zones. I don't have all the scaling turnover on my nodes, but here's all my. I'm fully set up with redundancy and high availability, right? All right, all right. So that's in GCP. So we got that part done. So let's move this out of our way. right? So here's those outputs that it said that we would get, right? As it stated before, we were gonna get those outputs, and that came back up from here, right? So now we're here. We're gonna configure kubectl. So yeah, methods, but I get some options here, but I don't have anything configured for my command. I don't know why that turned green. All right, so we're gonna just copy this and let me paste it. Let me see if there's anything that I need to change. Nope. All right, so I'm gonna hit enter. Fetching endpoint authorization data cluster blah blah is not running. I don't know why. It just said it was. All right, let's go back. Because I saw it up and running. Now, it's just a warning, but I'll double check. I saw it. Hold on. That's my mouse at. Looking for my mouse. I don't know what. Oh, there it is right there. All right, so when I look, I see I'm up and running. Oh, what are we doing here? Do you need time to update? Okay, I guess I need to wait a little longer because my status is going crazy. But when I click here, when I look at the notes, okay, ready. All in a ready state. Let's look at our logs. All right, so our logs. We got a warning there. Yeah, we're up. Let me go back. We're still doing the spin thing. I'm gonna go to clusters. Very fresh. Still spinning. I'm gonna try the command one more time. I'm gonna let it spin. I'm assuming it's catching up with doing something. Find warning message when you try to retrieve the cluster. This is because Kubernetes cluster is still initializing and updated. If this happens, proceed to the next step. Yeah. Okay. I'm not crazy. That's supposed to happen. To verify your cluster is correctly configured and running, you would deploy the dashboard and navigate to it from your local browser. While you can deploy a Kubernetes dashboard using the kubectl. All right, so we're gonna clear the screen here, and then we're gonna grab this, and then we're gonna cut and paste. All right, so I'm gonna Control C that, and I'm gonna do ls as well. Just grabbing a YAML file, which is the recommended. Okay, it's out here. It's got to be out here. It's out here in this thing. It's not local. So it's gonna do kubectl-f apply Kubernetes dashboard and recommended.yaml. So it's gonna deploy that for me, and it's gonna create these things. Let's see if it happens. Even though it's not ready. Let's see if it happens. Yeah, there we go. It's just a service account, some secrets. some role based, some cluster roles. It's deprecated. Okay, instead deployment created service, blah, 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 spec. Then this is old. They probably haven't updated their repository. That's not on me. All right, now from here, it says we're gonna run Q proxy. Right, we can just cut and paste. All right, so in theory, if I go to 127.0.0.1 and ports 8001, I get nothing. Oh, I got 88.1. That's why. 8001. Okay, so I get some endpoints. So I need to do like what they have there. So I'm gonna cut and paste. Let me show you what I'm getting. I'm getting my endpoints. So I'm getting my endpoints. So, but for right now, we're gonna add to that. I'm gonna cut and paste the rest of that. Okay. So I have my cube config. I wanted to grab the rest of it that they have down here in this thing right here. Now I have my cube config and my token now. Right? So now that I got my token, I got my dashboard. Now I need to authorize this. So I need to get my token. All right. All right. So following along, all right, we got those results. It doesn't show that you have been logged out. I don't have that, right? I didn't have that. Now I need to authenticate. But in order to do that, I had to set up a cluster role binding and provide authorization token. This gives the cluster admin permission to access the Kubernetes dashboard. Authenticating using kubeconfig, right, is not an option. So I can't use kubeconfig. So I'm going to use the token. And another terminal, do not close the kube proxy. In another terminal, I need to run this command here. So I have my kube proxy here. So basically, I need another terminal. All right, so let's get another terminal. Oh, hold on. All right, cool. All right, so now we got our other terminal. I'm going to attempt to make it a little bigger. And I need to CD over to our location of where our Terraform information at, because that's where I have the cluster. Uh, that's where I have the cluster updated at, well, authenticated at, where I can log in at. So now we're just gonna copy this, and we're gonna paste, and you can see it's pulling down this YAML file to be deployed. So we're gonna just deploy that. Right, we created the user, we created the cluster admin user role. Right, so now I'm going to cut and paste this because should be out to generating a token for me. And I'm going to generate this token. And we're going to just cut and paste here. And you can see from this, there's the YAML file, but it's also, did it do it? Oh, no. I thought I couldn't paste that already. Here we go. All right, so now we're describing what happened, but we're passing this command into this namespace called kube system. And before we do that, let's talk about some stuff. Right, so let's clear the screen and let's do kube CTL get namespaces. So here's my namespaces by default that got created, right? Default node leads queue public system and then dashboard that got created 5 minutes ago, right? I created that namespace from one of these files, remember? Right, and then we can do a cube, CTL, get pods. Let's do dash namespace. Let's do cube system. I want to get the pods out of a particular namespace. In this case, I should be able to get it from cube system. And you can see what's all running in cube system. We got Fluent, we got connectivity, we got GKE metrics, we got Cube proxy because we're using Cube proxy. These are all the containers or services that are running in containers that are running right now, right? And now our next step, I'm gonna run that command again. I still have it in my thing. So what it's doing is going to the cube system. It's gonna grab a secret for me. It's gonna grab it, awk it, and create a token for me, right? And then I'm gonna take that token that got created. I'm gonna come over here, and instead of, remember, I can't log in with cube config. I'm gonna come here. And I'm gonna cut and paste that token here. So we're almost there. So now let's do this thing. Create the token. All right, there's my token. All right, so I'm just gonna highlight that. All right, I'm gonna bring my dashboard back over, paste that, and then sign in. All right, so I'm in. Right. All right, so we got my proxy up. We're still up. We're still logged in. So it says select the token. We did that, and now we have Kubernetes. So let me click on Kubernetes. Forbidden. I got a 403 error there. What happened? Oh, why? I don't know why he did that. But anyway, here I get some nodes. I get a CPU. I'm not showing persistent volumes. I don't have any. See, don't have any jobs. I know I got pods working. It's not letting me change namespaces there. Cluster. All right. We got some more work to do here. All right. But we do have something. Right? We got a little something we can move around with. All right. Okay. On our thing, it says click on the nodes on the left, and you should see 6 nodes, which we do. We saw that. We understood that. We got that. Oh, okay. It's just showing us the nodes, and then we do a Terraform destroy to clean it up. Let me see what all else can I click on. Did I get anything? Cluster roles, namespaces, nodes. The only thing I get in the CPU usage and the memory usage, persistent volumes, storage class, an overview here, but I don't get any workloads. You can deploy a container. I can deploy, now that I got it up, I can go in here and I can do a deployment on, say, a web server, deploy a web server out here, some type of application, or I could deploy a database or what have you. I don't like it. They don't give me the pods, and it doesn't let me change the um doesn't let me change the actual namespace. How do I know? Okay, so let's just type in the namespace cube system and see will it let me do that. And then let's go here and do pods. Yeah, see, it's not. And we know it's pods in there. We know it's stuff running there. We saw that from command line. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the way they deployed the actual get secret. It only gives me access to nodes. It doesn't give me access to anything else. Maybe that could be the case. Because there we know for a fact there are nodes, pods that are deployed in Cube CTL. I mean, not Cube system. So let's go back over here to our terminal here, and we'll clear our screen. We'll use the up arrow again. And we'll get namespaces. And we have the Cube public. So let's do that. Let's do Cube CPL it pods. And let's do it in this namespace. And I'm doing the longhand. I can use shorthand. Any final resources there? How about in Cube node dash lease? All right, just in Cube. How about dashboard? Kubernetes dashboard. We got 2 containers right there running. All right, and you can get the logs of these containers and so forth. I wonder if Stackdriver was running this information where we could get more logging metrics of this cluster here. We get the logs dashboard of this cluster. Nothing's running yet. I may have to set something up. Here's the pods, right? So I get some information from Stackdriver, but that's probably because they got Stackdriver, something with Stackdriver turned on. Right? So I get some information there. The project, an error here. Let's see errors with connectivity. View monitoring details. All right, so just playing around with it, just seeing what you get. Here's the namespace. Here's the agent. Whatever issue you had, you can get out of that, right? So that's it. You use Terraform to deploy the Kubernetes cluster and a dashboard or service that serves a dashboard, an application that serves a dashboard, and you got a chance to see Terraform in action. Now the question is, what did you do? Right? I'm sure you're like, what did you do? I'm gonna do a Terraform destroy, and then I'm gonna do auto dash approve. I wanted to destroy now. I wanted to ask me the questions. So it's gonna go out and destroy everything and tear it down. Yes, and why you torturing yourself on a cell phone? I don't know why y'all come over here with these cell phones. You try to look so small. All right, so it's gonna do its thing. It's gonna destroy. And go from there. All right, see, is the terminal session zoomed? Yeah, it was zoomed in. Cool. All right, so we did some troubleshooting with Terraform, trying to figure out what was wrong with our region and so forth. It's now destroying our workspace. We're cleaning it up here, right? And then I'll just delete this folder after I destroy everything. Yeah, everything should be gone, including the keys, the token, and all the hash and everything. That should be gone. right? And then we'll go from there. So, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Did y'all enjoy doing a deployment with Kubernetes? I didn't deploy. I didn't deploy like my own application. I could have built my own web server and deployed my own web server, but I think you get the gist, right? With the YAML files and so forth. But this was not supposed to be a Kubernetes class. This is just a Linux uh, tutorial per se. Um, we can deep dive off into like creating a Linux one, but yep. But I won't do that now. We're at a 209 mark here. Um, so D, anybody back ever come backstage? I was busy looking at the terminal and whatnot. No, I guess they didn't want to play today. But there you have it, right? You got a chance to see some jobs. Don't be on your mobile. You got a chance to see some jobs. You also got a chance to ask about jobs, your career path, and as well any type of Linux stuff that you wanted to know about. But I incorporated Terraform and Kubernetes and Google Cloud, right? My one of my three fundamentals, and I did it on the command line. So we got a chance to see everything, all how they all intertwine together. I could add in security to that by deploying a scanner to scan the containers on my cluster, regardless if it comes from GCP or not. I can scan for vulnerabilities and so forth, and then set up some type of some place for it to report to, so I can go get that feedback as well too. Right. So those are just step by step instructions on setting up a GKE cluster. You can use Minikube on your machine. If you don't want to, just set it up out in the cloud. But understand what kubectl, kubeconfig, uh, what is a .tf file, what are modules. That's Terraform talk. How to troubleshoot and so forth. That's what you would need to know. Did anything else you want to add? No. All right, folks. Well, it's been real. It's still destroying. It'll be here probably another 10 minutes destroying. And we'll catch you all next week or Saturday. Those that are coming to what you call it, we'll do that. I like how you show the places to find free courses. It shouldn't break the bank. Learn. No, no. I just show you places. It's funny you mentioned that because one of the things that came I was listening to is like what is should you go to college to learn and learn certain things, is college worth it? And I'm twofold on the college. Me and D had this talk this morning. I think you do need some college if you are just need the structure. That's one, because not everybody can study on their own, right? Some people need that structure. The other one is, and I'm not talking 4 year degree, I'm talking 2 year. And then the other part of it is, I also think people need to also have the ability to um, learn without going to college. But I also think that you could possibly get someone to pay. Yeah, I'm thinking community college, Kevin. You get to pay for your college as well too. So
I
this is,
think it's all about what we were discussing earlier about discipline. Do you have the discipline and the focus to stick to a curriculum?
yeah, and the other part of it is certain jobs. I know most of the DoD jobs require you to have a degree. I haven't seen them get rid of that. So certain people do want you to have a degree, and certain people don't. It depends on who it is. I don't force it on anyone. I don't know of all the colleges that are teaching you Kubernetes. I don't know the colleges that are teaching you DevSecOps, but you can learn like certain elements of cybersecurity and so forth. And then you may not do either one of those. You like SANS.org has it has a bachelor and a master's degree program for cybersecurity. You can go to school directly with them, and they probably would employ you right after that anyway. So, the way you go about getting information has changed. You didn't have to go to an institution now to get information. You have different ways you can get information. So for me, it's twofold. On getting, you're welcome. Thank you, Uncle Sue. It's twofold how you get information. Like you can get information from the college, you can get information from your friends, you can get information, free information, attending stuff. You can go to a boot camp. I mean, there's so many different ways. But the question I still have is, what is that long term path, right? Well, SANS is not expensive if you get a scholarship, right?
And I mean, and at the end of the day, tech is a place where you're always going to have to keep learning. So you just
Mhm.
don't go to one institution and be like, okay, they gave me all that I need to have, and I'm going to stop learning. You're going to miss the bus that way. So you're going to have to use things to supplement your learning because they're not
Mhm.
taught in school.
Yep. And the other thing I want to add too is you all have a wealth of knowledge in Slack and a wealth of knowledge in each other. And what I have not figured out is as big of a community that we have, why you're not using that community, right? Why you're not using that community to get ahead. Again, I'm going to challenge you. I am going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to come up with a plan for 5 million. Let's challenge that. Let what does that look like? D, what you think?
I mean, I think it's great. It's something that we've been working on ourselves. So I want to reiterate, like everything that we tell you guys to do, we are working on them ourselves. So it's we practicing what we preach. And as Tam was saying with Donald earlier, you'll be surprised at your net worth right now as far as your assets. And your assets don't necessarily have to be, a house. It could be your 401k. It could be your life insurance policy, your cars. It could be, jewelry, gold. It could be a slew of things, but those
A
are things,
watch.
a watch. Those are things that you have to research for yourself. Every time I got jewelry as a gift from my husband, I would go get it appraised and add it to my policy because these things appreciate over time. They have value. And when you need that stuff, you can go cash that stuff in for cash. So at the end of the day, it's always good. It's like checking your credit every year, every 6 months. It's always good to assess where you're at so that you can see where you're going. And also starting with that end result first. Like, where do I want to be? What does that look like for me? And making a plan and working backwards from that. So I say
Q4.
I'm
I
all with
said,
the 5 mil plan.
yeah, Q4. I said 5 million. I'm not talking about 5 million in salary. I'm talking about 5 million in net worth, right? What would a plan look like for 5 million in 5 years? Maybe you want to do 5 million in 10 years, right? But what does that look like when you think about a million a year, and your assets? What does that look like, right? And the question is, do you think you're worth 5 million? A 10, 20? What do you think it is, right? Um, again, these assets come in multiple things, and then you really start to focus in on compound interest.
It could be land. These I bonds, like taking advantage of these I bonds with compound interest and things that
Hmm.
compound over time. You have some money in your savings account. You might want to move that money to a high yield savings account because you definitely want access to your money. You don't want to put your emergency money in a vehicle that you can't withdraw from immediately. It just doesn't make sense. some money is going to have to sacrifice not getting, the yield that you want, but at least you know that you have access to it. So look at those things. It might be inheritance that I know someone said earlier that boomers are passing this wealth on before they die. They're not even waiting till they kick the bucket. Right? Let me get this over to you right now, so
Well,
you
they
can
gotta be kicking the bucket.
kick the bucket. So and right, and it doesn't have to be some long out drawn out thing. I know I can get a perfectionist spirit. Write that thing down on a piece of paper. You can take a little paper from your printer and just write down things and look up a net worth calculator. Donald, if you want to share the net worth calculator that you
Yeah, the
use,
money guy has one.
go ahead and post that for the people, and you'll be surprised. And Donna, I would be interested in hearing, why were you so surprised? Was it a good surprise? Was it a bad surprise? Did it light a fire surprise? So all those things matter, definitely.
Let me find a network calculator. Worth, not network. Oh, Nerd Wallet has one, and there's also a net worth worksheet
Oh,
here.
and for Q4, I'm going to open up some more dates for the one-on-one sessions. I do post them monthly based on our availability. So when that schedule opens back up, I know you're on Slack. It'll be in the one-on-one session. I'll put an announcement in there, and you'll get a notification.
All right, so on this network calculator from Nerd Wallet, it's got assets. Oops. It's got assets, liabilities, your savings, your personal, your retirement accounts, student loans, autos, other, right? And then it'll calculate your net worth right there. Other things to include in your net worth. And I just did this. This is why I'm really bringing it up. Let me find my screen. Let me find it.
And if
Um,
you're not maximizing all of the vehicles that you guys have at your jobs, then you're doing yourself as a disservice as well. So maximize that stuff, because when you, like 401ks and things like that, because when you leave, you can roll that over into a different plan, different provider, and take that with you, and you can start contributing to that pot yourself. So then that's another vehicle for you. And then when you get to a new position, you can be there. I'm not sure if you can combine it. Really hadn't looked into if you can combine that, or you might have to take the money out and put it into a new one. It just depends, but maximize that. If they have the life insurance, maximize your policies. Maximize all that stuff, because it's basically like, it's so cheap because there's so many people on the policy. It's basically like hiding money from yourself. It's like putting it under the mattress. If you don't see it, you're not really worrying about it.
yeah, Ethical Gray say if you use the Mint app, it tells you your net worth. The other thing too is calculate your. I know people don't like to talk about this, but your death benefits, right? Calculate your death benefits, and then look and see like, well, where do you want that money to go? What does that look like, right? So, um, again, I'm just sharing like different things to think about. You all are trying to move towards, wealth accumulation. All these talks, all these trainings, all these skills should be, skill, asset, skill, asset, skill, asset, right? Think of, all right, I got this skill. I need to invest in an asset. What does that look like? And remember, you don't have to spend, and a lot of people get this confused too. You don't have to spend $10,000 for it to be an asset, right? you could spend. I just showed you the one on Ace Trader where you could spend 1,700 and be a part of a farmland or a timberland or something like that, right? Like go over here, let me go invest into this. Let me go over here and invest into that. Let me, but in order to do
Put
that,
something on something.
yeah,
Put a little. If you only got a few dollars, just put a few dollars on it. It's so many vehicles now. What usually they call a fractional, but I mean,
yeah,
usually those
DCA your way in, dollar cost average into a stock. You may want to buy
right.
Apple stock and keep up with the splits. What stocks are splitting? Keep up with what stocks are splitting and so forth. Like you may want to get in on the Apple stock. You may want to get on the Amazon stock. I think Tesla's coming up with another split, I believe. All right, like those things right there. Like strictly sticking to blue chips and just keep it little old soft and I'm soft and steady. I'm old and steady, right? Old and steady, right? But that's just one way to invest, right? That's not all the ways I'm investing. That's just one of the ways I'm investing, right? And then I've also seen it too. I also got some friends that set up multiple accounts, right? They got a short term account, a now account, a short term, and a long term, right? And when I say that, I mean an investment account. And in a short term account, they do one thing. They may be aggressive, like really aggressive, right? And then short term, I mean, yeah, midterm, if you want to look at it that way, they are moderately aggressive. And then in another one, they are, conservative, right? But you may not want all three strategies, but you can pick out what you want to do, right? So what's your aggressive strategy? I think aggressive strategies would probably be playing options and puts and calls and puts, as I should say. You playing options, and then you're moderately aggressive. I could probably see that maybe some real estate stuff, and then your long term, you're all in on stocks and renewable energy or whatnot, right? But you can chop that up however you want to. But you don't have to have one account that does one thing. You can have multiple accounts that do multiple things, right? And we'll come back in next week and talk about their targeted 2050 funds and 2045 and what does that look like. Like, because they're just like, hey, put $5,000 in, put $1,000 a month, put it on autopilot. This is what you're gonna be invested in, and we'll see you in 30 years. What that looks like. That's really what it is. What do you think about uh, calculating net worth and death benefits every year on your birthday as an annual habit? I don't know unless you're buying insurance or something like that every single year. I mean, but I think you're gonna know automatically, depending on how you have your death benefit set up, that it increases over time, right? It increases over time.
And then also like with certain insurances and things like that, it's toward the beginning of the year. They might have like a what they like a re-enrollment period or a
Mhm.
change period. So you might want to schedule it during that period. I know like the fiscal year starts at the beginning of the year. So definitely depends on when you can change any plan, whether you need to increase it at that time or not. So each vehicle is a little different. So that's something that you may consider. Like I said in the chat, it's so much going on around birthdays. I usually forget a whole lot of stuff. Last month, I forgot a couple of bills, my personal bills. I was like, how did I forget to pay you? I was like, I have to eat that late fee. But so many other things are due. Your rent, your car, your what does that do? Your registration is on your birthday, and some other things. So whatever works for you, but definitely keep those calendar dates in mind and when you can change things because sometimes it's outside of that change period.
Hmm. Yeah, and again, it's really how what you all have for yourself, right? Where you see yourself, right? And along this journey, again, like I say, do estate planning. Don't forget to include healthcare costs and how you want to leave things to people. I know it's a lot to think about. That's why you shouldn't do it by yourself, but you need to write it down and then go from there.
I my hood rat activities with my friend usually is like at the last minute. So I mean, I try, but there's so many other things that are always going on. Like, but I'll do better. I'll definitely do better. But I mean, when you have somebody to like remind you of those things and putting that together, like, you know in me and Tam's situation, we're not only friends, but we're business partners. So a lot of these strategies that we're talking about affects our business partnerships as well. So these things are have to be in place because not only that, we're single women, and so we have to protect ourselves, and then also if we get into relationships, you have your estate, but protecting that for my business partnership, like my partnership, like I said, always being fiscally responsible for yourself and the people around you. Like I would hate for something to happen, like, and we couldn't make a move like we were supposed to, or somebody comes along and tries to invade what we've built. Like, that's just not fair to her or to me, vice versa.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, that was all I had today, D. I
Yeah,
mean,
trust before wheels. And it just makes sense. But I listen, and even Tam, your mom was saying, all I need is a will, and it's just like that's what we've been taught. That you just need a will, but you know you have to let people know why the will not work. And wills can be contested, and trusts go into litigation as well, but it is working, is more binding than a will. And if you're gonna do a will, at least do a will on a video and send it to the lawyer so that they know you in your right mind, your sound mind. Because a lot of times, I watch a lot of TV shows, and that's the first thing they want to know was mother in her right mind, because she might have suffered some dementia, or if it was changed in dates and things of that nature. So
oh, Sim, you missed it earlier. We don't talk about prenups over here.
we don't do prenups, we do trust.
Prenups is for probates.
Prenups is for probates. Prenups can be contested. You
Yeah,
don't.
we
You not.
don't.
You haven't been here. You haven't been listening.
Yeah, you haven't been
We're
listening.
brand new over here. We don't. We're not talking about renups. No renups. No. No. Trust.
Yeah,
Trust the trust. Trust the trust.
yeah. You need to get into estate planning, irrevocable trust or revocable trust. And you need to understand what's the difference between two. And that was on the last show on what we're talking about it and why it's important. Right.
Why it's important, and we've also um in a show before that, when we brought up the Dave Ramsey story where the lady was married to her husband for 50 years. Oh no, it was a couple of stories, because it was one lady that they got a prenup and her husband ended up getting sick and he needed care. And she was like, and she was trying to get him on Medicaid, and they were like, "No, you got money." And she was like, "No, that's my money." Then he's like, they were like, "No, that's you guys' money.
It
No, you
was,
have to pay for that."
yeah. That story was this. That was Robless. That was Robless,
Oh, that
and
was Robles.
he was saying that she had her estate, he had his estate, but in her estate planning, she didn't include the healthcare portion of it. I believe that's what it was. And because that wasn't included and he was going into the nursing home, he had to deplete his stuff as if he was poor. And because she was married to him and didn't include that in her plan, she had to deplete her stuff as well too, so that he could have things, or she would have to keep him at home. Yeah, we're not doing prenups. We're doing estates. We're doing this. We're doing estate planning, and in the estate is a trust or a will. But you can go back to the last show to talk about what could be included in your estate portfolio, and that's why I keep stressing the estate portfolio and talking about what that looks like, because I think a lot of this debate can be solved with just some planning, and let's move on. And if you're gonna get together, we get together. And on the last show, we talk about no commingling assets out of the estate.
Out of the trust. Don't
Yeah,
commingle your trust, or you're gonna set yourself up for failure.
you're gonna
Telling
set
you
yourself up for the person to be able to, whenever you all get divorced
to
or whatnot,
contest it.
to contest everything.
Contest everything, and that defeats the purpose, because now when you have your conversations, it's what do you bring to the table? This is my estate, and you have your things and I have my things. So at this point we're building our things. It's very clear. The path has been set. I think it's a level playing field for a conversation. It's no power struggles, is not any of that, because as a man, and all the traditional man things, you can plan for your family and how you want to move forward. As a woman, you can plan for yourself and your family, how you want to move forward, what that looks like, and set those markers up for yourself. And then when you get together as a couple, have a healthy open dialogue. And this is not somebody you just meet on the first date. This is somebody that you are intentionally dating, that are your marriage. It might have been, you got to the fiance, you might got to the ring portion of the conversation, and moving forward. Those conversations need to be had, and not as I'm over you, you over me, I'm under you. A marriage is a partnership. And whatever that partnership means for you, it's exactly what you make it for you. I can't stress that enough. What you are looking for in your person, somebody is looking for you, your person. You do not have to force your will on anybody. Somebody is looking for what you have to offer. And what that means for you is what it means for you. So, yeah, no commingling. No,
No.
no commingling of the trust. Now, once once those trust are trust, now anything you start after that as you too, and it depends on your state, because I know California is a community property state, Georgia, no. So, what that looks like going forward. So,
Yep. So the other part I want to also bring up too is you don't have to put everything into your trust if you're planning on getting married, right? And you want to leave, like I said before, if you bought 20 acres somewhere, you can leave that outside of the trust or what, that that you don't want to have touched. And so when you bring that to the table, like this is 20 acres, we can go build a property on.
right,
I'm okay with X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the other, right?
right. But
Um,
you mentioned something last week that was a really great point. Like, before you guys come together, you each have your own families, whether your daughter, sister, cousin, granddaughter, you guys have families, and your families leave you things. It's things that are in your family already. And so you already have obligations to that family before you come and create a new family, your extended family. And so, those things should be protected in a sense. It's just like, if it's not personal to this new person that you're meeting. It's handling business for your family. It is for inheritance. It is for legacy moving forward
Yeah,
and your obligation to the family.
yeah. The reason why I have brought it up is because when I was in DC, me and a couple of guy friends, we were sitting around, and he was trying to figure out how he was going to tell his girlfriend that she got to sign this prenup because he had some he had some property that was left to him from his grandparents on both sides, both grandparents. And he wanted to ensure that, there was protection there. But we didn't talk about trust at that point. But he was like, I don't think she's going to sign the prenup. And he was like, it's a lot of acres. And on those acres, there's family that live on those acres too. And so he was like, she's not entitled to that. That's going to stay in the family. So how do you protect? It's not that you're trying to hide anything from her. You're just saying this is family matters, and this is
This is my family obligation.
right.
And because of that, in order to keep this, this is what it needs to happen. I need to make sure that they're all right. Has nothing to do how I feel about you,
Hmm.
what we're going to do, what we're planning for our lives moving forward. Heck, we might be living over there with them.
Isn't that commingling?
No, I mean on the land. Like, say for instance,
That
you
might be
have
commingling, though, D.
no, it's not actually. It's not commingling, right? Say you have your trust, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have your trust, not, and you have land, right? Everybody has their plot of land. Now
Mm-hmm.
we all know that your land value and your home value is two different things.
Mm-hmm.
People, they selling houses right now. It's just like, you can buy this house, but we own the land, so you gonna pay us this land lease. So you can go and have your land and you build your house, but it's already in the trust. Like this house, it's your land, your little piece of land
Okay,
that
so
you
that
go
I
and
think this is where a lawyer comes in at, because I don't.
that's where you call your lawyer.
Because here's the question I will have: if I contribute to this house being built on the land that you own, do I just get part of the house and not the land? And
That's what it depends on what's in your trust.
well, that's what I'm saying. So I won't want to build on that land.
But what if it's like it's
I
perfect?
don't care.
What if it's
No,
perfect? What if it's
no,
perfect? And
no,
you be like, oh,
no.
or would you be just like, okay, you built this house here, you are responsible for, he or she or whatever is responsible for the family
We're
home.
gonna find a new piece of property.
What if it's perfect?
We're gonna find it's no such thing as is perfect. We're gonna find a new piece of property that we both have access to. I don't have access to that. I don't get anything out of that. I mean, again, every man and every woman is different. I'm just saying we're commingling assets. So that means that I open the door, or he or she opens the door for that commingling. That so there may be other properties that are just perfect that I can be like,
They could, but Sam, I see what you mean. But literally, when we were looking at some houses to invest in, like last year, we found some houses, and they were built. I think they were built by the city, and the city owned the land, and the house, basically you were just buying the house. So I'm just like, literally, are you gonna have to pick this house? Can you pick this house up and move it to where you need to be? And if you want to move, but you didn't own the land. And I actually ran into
that's at
a
the thing.
another lady at an event I was networking at, and the same thing for her house. She had lived in this house for 10 years and she thought she owned her land, and she did not own the land to her house. And it wasn't, and she bought the house from somebody, and it wasn't stated in that paperwork that she did not own the land. And I was like, well, you need to go back to the title company, because it's their job to tell you that, that's your insurance on that title search, whether you own that land or not. So it happens. But I mean, hey, you got to go to an attorney. We're not attorneys. I'm not an attorney. Tam, you're an attorney.
No, I just want to build on that land. I know you want to be in love.
Oh, you smoking.
You want to be in the
I
love.
mean, you have really been giving me the blues today. No.
I know you want to be in the
I,
love. To be loved. To be loved. I get it.
Elo, we got over 60 channels in there in
What what
Slack.
what is Elo looking for?
I gave Elo a link on getting started. So if you are
Oh,
trying to look at it on your cell phone, stop torturing yourself.
to
Open up
be
Slack
loved. To be
uh,
loved.
on a mobile device, as a tablet, on a laptop, or your desktop, and look at it on a big screen so that you can see all of the wonderful offerings that it brings. But that link that I provided to you should take you to exactly where do I start. And that should give you tunnel vision enough not to look at anything else and get started on those steps, which is for beginners is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullet points. And I'm telling you, those
Is
six
this
bullet
starting in
points
Linux?
depend on your time, can take you a week or a month.
Is this starting in Linux or starting with estate plan?
Linux.
Okay. Just making sure. What's going on, Wally? How you doing? All right now. Sim, don't do no trust. I mean, don't do no prenup. Trying to you go
You
look
don't
it
set
up.
yourself up.
Estate versus prenups. I'm trying to tell you, go look it up. When we just did estate versus wills too. We just went over that too on the last show. Just trying to tell you. Trying to
Ooh,
warn
Sam, you tried it. You tried it. Y'all just trying me today, huh?
you.
Y'all are just you trying me today. It's
To
okay.
be loved. To be loved.
It's okay. I fantasizing about my king with masculine energy. I think I probably got enough masculine energy for the both of us. I'm not sure. But that's another conversation. Those are energy.
Love. It's all good. So yep. I hope y'all enjoyed today. You got a whirlwind tour of Cube CTL, following the instructions really.
I'm surprised people didn't take it. I mean, we charge for this information. So I am surprised that people did not take advantage of the whole Q&A
Screen. Nobody came up and asked
offering.
no negative question.
I am so shocked.
Nobody.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. And I know as soon as Tam get to teach, I went and got myself a bowl of soup. Like, I am shocked that you guys did not take advantage of that. Absolutely not. Like, you're going to learn. You're going to learn to be better prepared with your questions. This was your if you didn't have a moment, this was your moment. This was your
I
moment.
got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night.
Tam is going to go outside today and pick her up some food.
Mm-mm.
She's not having a catered meal
I
today.
forgot. I got pizza in the refrigerator.
You said Petty D and D Linux. Yes, Petty D and D Linux. Oh, that's me. I'm both people. We're
Yeah,
here.
Petty D.
Like I told you before, she has an extensive list. And
Oh man, yeah, y'all hadn't met the other five. Well, you did. Y'all met three today. You met
oh,
three.
really?
You met three today.
A whole three.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Petty D. D Linux links. That Petty D.
Sim is just baiting you to get the other name you tried to call me earlier. Don't take the bait, friend.
Three.
Don't take the bait.
Three still.
Don't take the bait, friend. I'm just letting
Sim,
you know.
three.
Don't take
Three.
the bait. Don't do it.
I'm like, man, how do I get in tech? Oh, that's a random question. I'm breaking. I don't know. You got to come up and ask. How about that?
Yeah, because that's like
Nah, because I can go on a. A wordsmith.
for hours,
Yeah.
hours and hours. Like,
Yeah. So we dropped the link. You can come up and ask that question and go from there. CM3.
and I can tell that by the type of question that you've asked, I can tell this is your first time here. But I would definitely go to womeninlinux.org and click connect. I am going to here at Women in Linux, we talk about our fundamentals, getting your fundamentals first, and then veering off to whatever track you like. But you have to have the fundamentals. And can somebody in the chat tell I am A1 what those fundamentals are? I can tell. I can tell by your question it's your first time here. So welcome.
No. Yep. Gotta figure out what you like.
But here we are getting the fundamentals, and I will drop the link for YouTube. I am.
Truckload of information. You funny.
And then that's going to take you to a link that you need. I am. And then in order to sign up for that link, you're going to go to womeninlinux.org. And then you're going to click connect at the top of the screen. That is going to give you a beautiful page, and you can sign into our Slack channel, and it's going to answer all of the questions that you have. Anybody in it are going to, what are those 5 fundamental things that we are always talking about that you need to have in order to start to give you a good solid foundation for your tech career? Awesome. Now that's where you're starting at. I am A1. Thanks, Q4. We appreciate it.
Basic
Fundamental.
Linux, cloud security, automation tool, and you can add Kubernetes if you want to.
Everybody's always, every time I speak to somebody on a one-on-one, they like, pick a cloud, any cloud.
Any
Pick
cloud,
a cloud, any cloud.
any cloud.
And then as far as the programming language, we always recommend Python as far as the infrastructure. So
I also recommend Rust if you're doing AI and machine learning, or if you want to get into AI and machine learning, or if you want to go fintech as well too.
no worries, I am. We've been here for 5 long years on YouTube, not even a full year. No, we haven't even been on YouTube for a year. This is our 7th month.
No, we've
Yeah,
been on it for a year.
wow.
We didn't start in January.
Yes, we did. We have 70 shows.
No,
When did we start?
We started last year.
When?
We started last year. You talking about for YouTube? Go back and look at it.
I'm about to. I'm curious.
Warm it up, Chris. I'm about to warm it up, Chris. But that's what I was born to do.
I'm going to see because
You
I
do
am
that.
sure enough curious.
You do that.
Let me go to our lives.
You do that. You
Because
go.
I know we've been on YouTube for 5 years, but I mean,
No.
for us.
Well, we've been on YouTube for you, but we
Yeah,
never.
we've been on YouTube for 5 years, but I mean, these live sessions.
And it started this year. Remember we did New Year's, bring in the New Year's with us and everything.
Hold on.
It's all right.
Is it 22?
Hmm?
Am I off?
Yes.
Last year was a little bit of a blur.
We've been on longer than that, my friend.
Yeah, it has been. It's 2 years.
Yes.
Where the hell am I? Last year was a blur, people. I'm sorry.
Where
My
you
bad.
been? Where you been, shorty?
Last year was a blur.
Yeah.
It was our first episode of Tech Stocks and Jobs was January 23rd, 2021. Where did the time go? It was a blur.
Right after the pandemic, we started it.
Was it after or during?
It was after January 23rd. Is after, 2021, 2020. Everybody was in the house.
Are we still in the pandemic?
Not
I
really.
mean, they got a new strain out.
Not really.
You know, my sister, she keeps me informed.
Mm, not really. People walking around with no mask on.
Oh yeah, when I did my ride by when I went to the office yesterday, I was like, they are out in full force. I mean, there were scooters all in the street acting like they were cars, the whole nine yards. And I was like,
Yep, we did tech stocks and jobs, and then broke off from tech stocks and jobs. We did 10 minutes ago, where you can learn
we did
code
10.
programming.
I didn't forget the whole year. I had a very, very interesting year, and it came in with a bang. So I didn't forget about it, but I was basically, and I'm not even fully out of it, but I was on autopilot, to be honest. So you never have a clue what people are going through, but yeah, that coming into the year was like, when they said the pandemic for 2020, like, oh, it's it's over. No, I was like, 2021 is just gonna get started, and boy, did it get started. So
Yep, we did.
that's what happened.
We did our first show of this one a year ago. We had 417 views. Did all right. It's been a year. The show has been around a year. Let me see. What's the date on that? Let me see.
On
Uh,
our first tech stocks and jobs.
June 26th. So it's officially we've been a year. We didn't even do a year anniversary.
It's officially been a year. Man,
Yeah.
you should send me some drinks.
I,
I'm
I,
not even drinking.
I should. What do you want? You want ginger ale?
No, I'm actually, on my like my cleanse reset something or other. I've been on liquids for like for a week now.
Yeah, right. You want some ginger ale?
Mm.
You want me to send
It's
you some?
chlorophyll water.
You want me to
I'm just
send you
gonna
some?
take a rain check on that.
You want me to send you some ginger and some ale?
No, I have some ginger in the refrigerator, and I have some sparkling water. You know what? Don't sleep on Blue Mountain. Their sparkling water, they be sparkling for days. Don't sleep. It's expensive, but it's good.
You're
But that
advertising.
Perrier
You're doing free advertising.
had that bite. Well, this is just for the healthy people. I'm just saying, if you're looking,
You're doing free advertising. They don't pay us.
they don't. They don't. But I mean, so many other people don't pay us either, and we bring them up.
I just asked the person trying to sell me life insurance if they can send me a contract so I can look it over. They told me I have to do the application first and when I mail me the policy. Yeah, they probably won't mail you the policy, but what you can have them do is share their screen and walk you through the terms, right? And walk you through the what is what and so forth, right? They can do that. And then you don't have to tell me out loud. You can tell me in chat. What kind are you trying to get? What are you trying to get? You don't have to tell me in here. You can tell me in Slack. It's all good. I'm just curious. Is it term or permanent? That's what I'll be wondering about. You look at some of these shows. They tell you all you need is term. I got you.
And then sometimes, like I had a friend of mine, and I definitely need to call her back. That what is that Prime America that sent me over some policies, and one thing that I don't like about Prime America is that I love her to death, but I don't know if she's knowledgeable enough to tell me about the policy, or if I'm going to get passed to someone else because it's like it's how they sign people up is MLM-ish.
Mm.
So
You can just do that through Mass Mutual.
probably, but I think it was when I was looking into getting my parents' policy increase when we were having that $1 million life insurance conversation.
Conversation. I
Yeah,
made it.
huh?
I made it. I made it to my million.
Well, yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
But we were for those who this was another show where we were talking about closing that wealth gap. If you close that wealth
you.
gap,
You been listening to me? Are you paying attention to me?
closing the wealth gap to make that we can close the wealth gap if like if our parents, like if we get $1 million policies on our parents. So if your parents already have a policy and say for instance they can't afford to pay that extra premium that you offer to cover that additional premium of the insurance policy, so that way when they pass and you guys have an estate plan, that inheritance will be passed down to you, and you guys that that'll give us a kickstart for the Black community in closing that gap.
Free. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Uh,
What do you want me to put up on the screen? Slack.
mhm.
I have so many things on my screen right now. Sam, do you have Slack up? Oh, I have Slack up. I can clear one screen. I got 3 screens right now when I do these shows. So hold on, let's see.
I don't know where you have it at in one
That's
of.
fine. I got my screen up.
Can you blow that up? I can't see it. Just hit Apple pound pound. It looks small.
That's not blowing that up. Apple pound pound is not blowing nothing up.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're on Slack.
Command plus
You're not
plus.
you're
I'm
not
in Slack.
on. Oh,
No, I know how to make it bigger, but it's not what you're giving me.
all right.
Command plus plus. That's too big.
Then I said it. Apple pound pound.
I don't know.
Oh, the command is the Apple thing.
Right, and pound is the
I
number sign.
mean plus sign.
Is that big enough or need to be bigger? It's because it's huge on my screen.
Mm,
Is that big enough?
let me see.
I'm gonna work on some Python to take that question. Thank you for coming out. Is that big enough?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
What channel are you in?
I'm in the announcement channel.
And you went back up to what? March 3rd of 2021.
No, so when you go to the announcements, that's one of the channels that you are automatically you are automatically given when you sign up to the Women in Limit Slack. And so in the announcements, if you see here at the top, there are 5 pinned items. If you click the pinned items, you will scroll down. However, Elo, I gave you the direct link to this post. And so with this post, it has a whole bunch of helpful tips in here. If you're new to Slack, how it gives you information on how to navigate around Slack. Also, it asks you what is your tech level. and add your tech level emoji to your profile name. That way, when people are having conversations with you and answering your questions, they know what your tech level, your experience level is, and so that they can speak to you on that level when things won't go over or under your head. And then also, it is where do I start? That where do I start is broken down in beginners, intermediate, and advanced based on those emojis. So for beginners, it says here below are some resources to get you started in your tech journey. And for beginners, is I can use some basics or I have no Linux experience ever. And so it tells you what is Linux. If you click on this link, it's going to take you into what is Linux. There's a fundamentals, a IT course. If you click that, it's one in training. Also, there's a CompTIA IT fundamental course. There's a link there. There's an essential Linux course that's in training. There is a fundamentals of Red Hat Enterprise course that you can take. And then there's some recommended channels. Each of these links, and I would go ahead and follow the bullet points in order because it kind of they stack on top of each other in regards to what are what skills are asked for Slack. Uh, wow, you'll be amazed at some people that they don't. I mean, if when you're in tech, like difference, like me and Tamika. Tamika is a command line person. The command line, she is going to fly through it. Give her a GUI, and she's like, Slack is kind of like that for some people. So I give them, some little options. And a lot of times we find out that people are navigating Slack on a mobile device, as in a cell phone, and they don't see a fraction of the things that Slack has to offer. So they're always kind of digging into Slack. But in Slack, if you go to our channels um, room, the channels channel, it brings back 50 recommended results. And so as you see in my Slack, this is my particular account. I've joined all of these channels. And so usually, I think when you come to Slack, you have like maybe 6 channels. I think it's announcements, general, maybe 3 in another channel. So
Jobs and random.
jobs and random. So you're automatically signed to those channels.
Automatically
So
get jobs.
that is that. Does that answer your question, Elo, or do you have any other questions in regards to Slack?
There was a certain date she went back to March something. March 3rd or something like that.
What are you talking about me?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I gave Elo the link, so I posted it in Slack. Like on when you go to a post, right? That post
You mean the
has a
pin?
link option, so you can copy that link
Oh, okay.
and give that link out, and it'll take you to that particular post if you're already signed in or you already signed up to our Slack.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Easy peasy.
yes, yes. I'm in customer experience, so you have to break it down to the novice level. Everybody comes with a different background and a different experience. So, yes, when
Mm.
people say zero tech, they don't really understand that their phone is a device and they're technologists. So
I need some my nails off.
that's it.
That was it. 3 hours and 8 minutes. You spent the last 45.
You see how petty she is. I spent the last 45 minutes. Is I did it.
It's not a
Where,
bad thing.
where are you looking off to?
I'm looking at my screen. It's not a bad thing.
Goodness. No one. I am A1. That is what we're here for. We are for the people.
I'm glad you understand that.
You act like I didn't.
It's been a long road coming.
That we are for the people.
Hmm. Been a long road coming. You've been coming kicking and screaming and crying, but you're here now. You can rest in your femininity.
My feminine energy.
You can rest in your femininity. Just trying to help you out here. Just trying to help you out. Just trying to help you
I
out.
mean, what would I do in this life
I
without you?
don't know. I've
What
been
would I
trying.
do? What was
I don't know.
I doing before I met you, friend?
I told you on the corner.
Stop telling people that.
But you were on the corner. The store is on the
Stop
corner.
telling people that.
But the store is on the corner.
That it was not on the corner.
It is on the
It was not
corner.
on the corner.
It is. It is
It's
on the.
not on
It
the
is at the
corner.
red. It is at the. It is at the corner. It is at
It's
an
not at the
intersection.
corner. Actually, it's just a little. It's a driveway. It's not a
But
corner.
but it is an intersection. It's
It's
on
an
the corner.
intersection, but it really wasn't a corner.
It is on the corner. It is. Soon
They
as you
had
pass,
parking on the corner. It wasn't on.
no, as soon as you pass that light, you make that you make that left. It's on the corner. You are.
You was on the corner too.
I was.
You
Oh,
was on the corner too.
that's why
If we gonna keep it a buck.
all
We
right.
was on
I
the
met you.
corner.
I met you on the corner. It
We were in it. The Florida version of a bodega. Like,
was on the corner.
let's keep don't keep telling people that you
Oh,
met me
Tim
on the
said it
corner.
was an hour.
D Lennox Links and Petty D presented for 1 hour of it. She is ready for that masculine energy. Stop it.
But you were on the corner. I didn't lie. I didn't say you were standing on the corner. I just said you. I met you on the
I
corner.
just want you just to say that you were there too, and you said
And
that, so
that's
I'm okay with that.
have.
So I
Like,
don't. I'm not. I'm.
like I met you on the corner. That's what it is.
You did not. Why can't you ever say you met me in a deli?
On
Why
the
can you
corner.
never? Huh?
On the corner.
Why can't you ever say that we met at our local deli?
On the corner.
You can't never say we met at a deli.
On the corner.
And you was getting cheap cookies and I was in there working.
On the corner.
No, we were in a deli. Next time you
That-
say in a deli,
No, you can't change my narrative.
those are alternative facts.
No, it's not.
that does not paint a pretty picture.
It paints a great picture. You met you
No,
on the
that's
corner.
because you petty.
They met you on the corner.
Petty T. Hashtag petty
I
T.
met you on the corner, and we hung out.
Hashtag petty T. We did not.
You know what? You don't like the truth. And I noticed that about you. It's okay. We're gonna work on that. We're gonna
We're gonna
get
work
there.
on your truth. That's
We're
why
gonna,
when
we're
they
gonna get there
say,
together.
when the people tell a story, you know how you do that little game and you tell somebody and at the end of it it's different. That ain't what happened. We did not meet on the corner. And why would I be meeting you on the corner? Petty
We
T.
met on the
Exactly, Free. Petty T.
We met on the corner.
And what happened on the corner?
I was getting my stuff.
From what was you getting? She was getting her stuff on the corner.
Getting
Telephone is the game, Wallet. You was getting what stuff on the corner?
my stuff from I was getting my cookies from the
You was
from,
getting some
from
you
the
was getting
store
your
from the
cookies on the
corner
corner.
store from the corner store. I don't understand these problems. Why are we having these problems now?
We don't have any problems, Tamika. You
It was
just
on the
your
corner.
story. I've heard you tell several stories, and this one got more holes in it than Swiss cheese.
No, now the other story I told, I was like, I met you when you was working at the strip club and you were dancing.
Stop telling people that. But it is a strip club on the other corner.
See? Exactly. You be acting like my judges. I mean, you act like
Look,
I'm
I
shooting.
wasn't there.
You act like I'm shooting jumpers like
It's as
long
many
range.
strip
Like
clubs as Florida
really?
has. They are whack unless you're in Miami. They are whack in the Tampa Bay area. They are whack boots. However, she didn't meet me there. And then for her to meet me there, if I was, what was
I
she
was
doing there?
there. That was the point.
Did we
Why?
meet in the
I'm
dressing
not
room?
offended. Why you mad?
Did we meet in the dressing room? Because
Why you
this is
mad?
a wholesome space. Your stories don't be wholesome.
They do be wholesome. I met you on the corner.
I am a virtuous woman. I don't know where these stories.
I don't know
I'm a
what
nice
I don't
lady.
know. I don't know what you call virtuous, but okay.
I'm a nice lady. I don't know
Okay.
where you.
I met you on the corner. Why can't you accept the corner? It was the corner store. There wasn't nobody outside selling bean pies or nothing like that. It was the corner store. I literally had to walk through the gate in order to get there. There is a red light right there. It is across the street
It
from
was a high end deli that
on
served
the corner.
food. They served cooked food. Tam came in there and got her some warm, fresh baked cookies from the counter. They even sell liquor. They sell beer and wine. They would have wine tastings and things of that nature and coffee. I would sit there and work because I would get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I didn't have to go nowhere. And it's a nice place.
Market and Deli. It is on
We met at a deli.
it's
You didn't have
on
to
the,
pull it
and
up.
it's on the corner. That's where it's at. It's on the corner. I know you don't want to believe. Look,
That is the place. She
that's
asked us.
it, on the
We was
corner.
on the corner in New York. When I hear
No,
on the corner,
no,
it's
that's your imagination that go
because I
run
have a
wild.
vivid one.
Because you're ratchet. You be
I'm
ratchet.
not ratchet. I'm a
You
great
be ratchet.
storyteller.
You be ratchet. You be ratchet.
Not ratchet.
You be ratchet.
No.
It's on the corner. This is what they serve. They got little foods and stuff. This is on the corner. You pull
Not a corner.
in. This is the corner. It is a corner store.
It is a deli. It's a market
Okay,
in deli.
a corner deli. Where I meet you
Not on the corner.
You know, you don't want to that you will try to make it seem like I met you on the corner and you was up there and you had a sign type my $5 for some fun. You be trying to
Wait a minute. Wait.
you be doing the most.
You need to reel that back on in. Didn't
You
nobody
be
say that?
doing the most.
What I'm saying is when you say you met me on the corner, that does not make sense.
It does. Met you in the corner.
Free, it is nice, right? Paints a whole different picture.
No,
She's
it
so
don't.
mean to me.
No, it don't. She be
She's
wanting
so
she
mean to me.
she be wanting all this flowers, candy cards, flowers, cards, and candy. I do
I
it
can
just to do it.
never
I'm fortunate to have
Yes. What
you,
is
girl. That's why she be wanting flower cards and candy. She want me to tell stories like that. Met you on the corner. That's it. That's all you get. Sandra, don't hype her up, corner deli. She was on the corner.
she ain't shit. I'm sorry.
She was on the corner.
So,
All right, I'm done with you and your corner lies.
are you done with me?
Yes.
You can it's still daylight out here. Let me get to go.
I know you ready to hit the streets. Where you going, D?
Excuse me?
See, thought she ready to hit the streets. All right, it's been real. I hope y'all had fun. Don't forget 5 million. Come up with a plan.
We gonna talk about it in the meetup or we gonna talk about it next week.
Mm,
So do the people have homework is what I'm saying. Like we need time frames and stuff. So have
I
something
give,
to
I give, I give everybody 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Oh, and check out for those who are members. We updated the memberships. Go check that out on YouTube.
Have you guys noticed the new emoji that's next to members' names?
Um,
Um,
we'll be doing Q&A sessions.
oh, I can tell you exactly. It's in Slack. Well, I posted it for you. Let's see. Where is it? I done made this thing
So
so
if you
big.
have not become a member, we're doing exclusive. Like I'm bringing in people from car dealerships. We talk about how to finance your car. Should you lease? Like there's a big conversation. You're like, oh, lease is a waste of time. Well, if you're spending 150, 250, $300,000 for a car, are you gonna buy it? Are you gonna get an asset to buy it? You're like, well, I'm not gonna buy it. Well, people buy them and lease them all the time.
So for the 300K earners membership, besides the loyalty badges, the members only live chat, in the priority reply to comments, and the shout outs, there will be a monthly 300K members only Q&A section. And also for the 500K earners, there are going to be 500K members only Q&A sessions, and also 500K members only live streams. So if you are a member to 500K earners membership, you'll have some premium content, and it's for members only. So like my statistics teacher used to say, do not be roadkill on the informational superhighway. Come get your learning.
There's no invite. It's pinned to the channel Q4.
It's a rush channel in Slack.
Yeah, it's just a link that's pinned to the channel. You just click on it. No
At
invite.
the rest time and the rest date.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we also and my goal is to start helping people plan their way to their path to a million, whatever that looks like for you. Everybody's gonna be different. Everybody's gonna be different. Everybody's gonna have a different game plan, different responsibilities, different roles to take. That's the goal, right? The goal is to actually be about it. Execution is the thing.
I'm
Execution.
excited. I'm excited for us as a community. I'm excited. I'm coming out of my fog. So excited for us as a community. I can't believe it's been over 5 years already. Like, I can't believe it's year 6. This is like, but this is a long relationship. This is a long relationship. Stacy, how do you become a member? So
I think it's on. You can have if you're on your tablet, you have to open it up in your web browser. You can't open it up in the app. And I think if you're on your phone, you have to open it up in the web browser because you won't see the join there. No, she would not be interviewed for poll codes. No,
you must be following her channel because the last time we checked, she had one video.
yeah, I haven't been back over the polls code.
Neither me.
I was just,
I hadn't
I
been
was
there.
just interested. It was just interesting.
So on the let me go to so for let me share this. Bring it up at the screen. So Stacy, when you go to the home page, and I am on my laptop, so when you go to the home page in on YouTube, there is a join button. So you click that join button, and it brings up where to go. Did it disappear? Okay. It brings up this join, but this join window, and you sued Tam, and she has a video for you all, and it has the memberships there, and then it has the badges, and then it has some custom emojis that are member only emojis.
She said she got it.
So that's it. I'm saying it for the people.
Oh no, I'm just letting you know. She said she got it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where it's at under join. So go ahead and listen to that.
And then two, we're trying to bring in more people to help you all with asking questions, not necessarily executing them, but looking up and asking the questions about your estates, your wills, your trusts, right? What do you want to protect, right? And then also people who are in the industry, those that want to level up leadership, those things. We're trying to really solidify that and help you go along longer, right? And then for some of you all, you may not want to do tech no more. You may be like, screw this tech stuff. I want to go do something else. And what does the pivot look like for you? So, putting a pivot plan together. You may not want to do tech anymore. I mean, I've thought about it. I've thought about like, let's just stop cold turkey and pivot to something else. Look at
How
that.
long was that thought?
See that this is Petty D right here.
I just asked how long was the thought.
There was the smirk on your face prior to that. Your nose and your lips spread it.
This one, I saw myself doing it. I was gearing up for it. Like
10 miles apart.
the lies, like the lies. Like, don't let Tamika fool you. She think about that stuff like, should I? And then she just keep on. It's like a passing thought. Like, I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Everything is tech related.
This is why you
I'm
were
just
met
gonna
on the
quit.
corner.
Just gonna quit this and I'm gonna do that. And I'll be like, girl, back. You're not gonna
This is
do it.
why you were met on the corner.
Huh?
This is why you were met on the corner.
Come again, say that.
These are the corner store lies. Yeah. Get closer.
You know what? You lucky you, my friend.
You were met
I
on
wish you were here because we could have took a ride. It's sunny. It might rain. It's Florida. I ain't gonna even do.
Like, let me get you going for a ride.
I might.
Figure that. It's all good. All right, people, it's been real. I hope y'all enjoyed yourself. Remember, 5 mil, 10 mil. What's that look like? Come
2
on,
weeks.
plan.
So we're gonna talk about it again in 2 weeks.
And let me say this: this 5 million does not have to be done alone. Does not have to be done alone. Remember,
don't be co-mingling with your roommates and stuff like that. Like Dave Ramsey say. Like,
what you mean? You need to clarify that statement.
Your roommate. Oh, so Dave Ramsey, when you're shacking up with somebody, meaning if you're like boyfriend and girlfriend, girlfriends and girlfriends, boyfriends and boyfriends, or if you guys are living together or purchase the property or anything of that nature, he says that there is no financial benefit to doing any of that. That person is your roommate. So don't be calling him with your roommate questions because Daddy Dave is going to tell you, don't do it. Don't talk to me about none of that. Worry about yourself. He don't say shit or get off the pot, but he says something about a paintbrush. It's funny, but I can't remember it. But yeah. Don't be shacking. No estate, no date.
And what's the other one?
I got it out the trust.
No, it's another one I came with the skills.
1 skill away from a meal.
No, 1 skill away from 200K.
Oh, 1 skill away from 200K.
You're right.
He's so stupid from the corner to the colonel.
That's right. That's what she casual color. Thank you. Send me your cash app, casual. Good compliment. Send me your cash app. Send me your cash app. That's right.
Ooh.
That's right.
You
From the
petty
corner,
too.
from the kernel.
Petty C.
Give me your cash out. Winner
Woo,
of
from the corner to the
put
kernel.
that on a t-shirt.
Oh,
Put that on a
y'all petty.
t-shirt.
Y'all talking about us petty. I know y'all in there petty.
From the corner to the kernel. Put that from the rooter to the tutor. Put that on the
goodness.
t-shirt.
I'm gonna put that up just because I got a good kiki out of that one.
Put that on the t-shirt.
I'm not gonna wear it.
From the corner to the kernel. What? I love it. That is that. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get you a shirt made today.
Goodness.
You
better give me that. I'm gonna kick you in your bad knee. Oh, I'm gonna kick you in your bad knee.
That is the perfect shirt.
Oh.
And if I don't get you a shirt, I'm gonna make one of your backgrounds.
No.
Corner to the
no.
That is perfect.
She been getting me a Falcons onesie since I met her 10 years ago.
It's all right.
I'm not gonna get it. I don't even know why I'm playing.
Casual economists hit that on the head from the corner to the kernel.
Petty.
Oh, I love it.
Petty
that's not petty, that's real.
That's
not petty, that's real.
That is an untruth.
What is untruth about it?
Oh, goodness. That is an untruth. But I did laugh. That was funny, though. I ain't gonna even lie. That was funny. Ooh. Oh, goodness.
There's all truth in that. You saw the daddy was on the corner. That's where I met you at. And now you talking. And now you talking.
Just showed the building.
And now you talking about kernels. Look at God.
Look at God. I would drink it. I would have a drink.
That's a good story from the corner to the kernel. That's a good story.
We gonna make it your biography.
No, we're gonna make it your biography. We're gonna get you on the circuit. On the speaking circuit.
That is gonna be the name of your first book. You've been looking to write a book. We can get you from the corner to the kernel.
That I wasn't on the corner. I was already doing it.
Your autobiography for you.
You was on the corner and you was up there trying to figure it out. And I was like, come here, the young lad. Come here there. Let's teach you a couple of things. That's right. Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
I swear you are funny.
And I swear by the moon and the stars in the sky, I'll be there.
Woo.
That was a good one.
It was a good one. I ain't gonna lie. It was funny. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna give a good jokester his props. That was funny. I love a good laugh.
Look, man, look, we out here changing lives. One corner at a time.
One corner at a time.
One corner at a time.
Goodness. It's times like this I need a Prosecco in my life.
It's all good. I appreciate y'all for rocking with us.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for spending yet another Saturday. The 45th episode of Howie Lennox. Yeah.
It's been a doozy.
It was fun.
Play some shower music.
Sam don't go to church.
I do every day.
That thing is set on fire. As soon as she step her foot on the step.
I go to church every day. Every day I'm in church.
This is our church, you know. This is Women in Lennox is our church. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in his name. Then his church.
All right, casual economist, shout out to you. We're gonna lead this presentation right here. We're gonna lead this thing right here. We're gonna set this thing off right. All right.
Bye, y'all. See you next week.